In the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana for the use of only by adults 21 and over. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org. That can be a thing for athletes, right? Like,
oh, there you go.
Like you're forbidden almost to maybe ride a motorcycle or do something that's like risky. Or
I mean, I can ride a motorcycle. I can do those things, but sure. I mean, if I call the company and tell them, hey, I cannot perform this weekend because I broke my leg riding a motorcycle, they're going to be like, hey, this is the season. You have a contract that you shouldn't be doing certain activities to protect. Yep. The contract, so you can accomplish it.
You need to be available.
Yes. So it's up to your skills. I mean, I feel with enough skills that I can do pretty much what I want, but I try not to push it. I try not to race on anything else during the competition, during the series, because it could be bad.
Yeah. Stay available. We were talking earlier that you snowboard. Have you been able to ride it all this year yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so this was going to be your first run?
Yes.
Okay.
No, and I got a brand new board that I got to put together. One of my sponsors, Field Clothing, he sent me a new board. So I just pulled it out of the box yesterday. I'm excited to go and shred this board.
What kind of board is it?
He is a custom made board by he partnered up with somebody. I posted it in my Instagram. I don't really know what board it is. I just took it out yesterday when I got off the plane. I'm like, oh, look at this new board.
Nice.
So the shape looks amazing. It's a little bigger than what I had before. So hopefully it'll be nicer. I feel like my older board was a little smaller for me.
Yeah. Do you like traditional bindings or like the step-ins?
I like the traditional ones better. Yeah, no, I had some of the step ins, but not like the new technology, the old one that you pulled it back.
Oh, yeah. I like those old ones, the flow.
Yeah, the flow.
Yeah,
so those are exactly what I have.
Help me understand my knowledge is not good with the snowboarding. Yeah. So traditional step in, what is the...
Well, the traditional is like the one where you see everyone the heel plate is solid, right? Like that doesn't, it bends forward, but there's no buckle there. And then you have your front that you clip in.
Okay.
Usually has two straps across your toe. It's like the toe and ankle. Where like Flow came up with these ones that still had those, but then the heel would drop down. So if you're with a bunch of skiers, you could just kick into your binding and lift that heel up and lock it, and then you're off just as fast as the skiers.
Oh, versus holding up the show, you can click that in and then
Yeah, it has like a wire around the back of your ankle, and then you just pull back a latch, and that gives all the tension so it doesn't fall back.
Exactly. So now you got this solid back. But yeah, towards the end of my snowboarding, I snowboard a little bit, but I went with the Flow, and I like being able to just get up and go.
Yeah, like now they got the new board. I was looking like, should I get some new bindings? So I look at the Flow and I think I'm just gonna put the Flow back into that new board.
There you go.
It's easy. It's convenient. I mean, it takes me 2 seconds. I'm set up faster than most of even the skiers sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was there a different one at first that was like a click-in?
Yeah, so they had these click-in ones, but they never really stuck.
No, I had that, and they would pop off all the time when you're like trying to hit air and you'd land, and you'd be like,
right.
Oh, it'd come apart.
Yeah, it just couldn't handle the impact. Yeah, sometimes.
Well, those flows, sometimes if you fall backwards going downhill, sometimes it will catch the snow and it will open them. So then you lose the board. That has happened to me a couple of times.
Really?
But I feel it's because I don't have enough tension on the wire, maybe.
Yeah.
But that happened a couple of times. Yeah, I fell completely backwards going downhill, and you can see the boards just staying up. Don't come cut my throat.
Yeah, or it just sends down the hill, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a rocket.
Yeah, how do you even find it?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's snowboard.
Get my board!
Well, it's better when you slide down and the board's still up versus the board comes off or the skis come off and they just go all the way down.
Yeah, that's the worst, man.
Yeah, fun times for sure.
Yeah. Welcome to Alaska Wall Project episode 100. I want to just say a big thank you to Jack and Brandon and Chad and Emily and everyone that's been around with us for all these episodes, all the listeners, all the sponsors. It's been 2 years now, and we've been constantly putting out a show every week. And when you start something, they always say, well, get to 100 and then we'll see where you're at. And I feel like the progress has been really nice. So thank you to all the listeners in Alaska and worldwide that have stuck with us through this learning. I mean, as you start anything new, obviously there's a learning curve there. And we just did our live podcast last night at the Palmer Ale House. Thank you for everyone that went out there. Obviously, there's some improvements to be made as far as that goes. But, it's all a learning curve. So thank you for everyone for coming out for that.
Daniel,
good call, man.
Thanks for all the work you've done. I mean, both of you guys, you guys done so much work, and it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like, we kind of touch on it pretty frequently, just the process of it, and the fact that we reached 100, and we're 2 years now, which has just flown because we started this right out of COVID, and to think that right where we're at with the support, the listeners, the followers, the sponsors, the loyal listeners, the folks that, we see routinely that, listen to this episode, listen to that episode. It's amazing that people stuck with us this long. So Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. It's been great. And Daniel, thank you for all what you've done, man. You've truly been the engine, so to speak, behind this monster. So,
what size engine?
And it's like I don't think turbo. Everyone like realizes like we this is at night, like we all have kids. Daniel and has a full-time job and has other businesses on the side. Same with you and Brandon. He commitments to hockey just and
busy, man.
It's just we're real busy, and you guys have made it work, and it's a lot of commitment, and you guys have been rock stars.
Right on.
It's been fun work doing this though.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, it's like it added to what was already a pretty full plate for all of us, but it's been fun. Like maybe there are times where it feels like kind of an inconvenience to have to do like, oh man, like I got all this stuff going on. But after we got into a groove, it just became something that was like, I look forward to it every week.
Yeah.
And we have meetings every other week or, at least once a month where we get together and we talk about our future and merchandise and upgrades of the website and just all these things, man. And now I look forward to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's your turning point, right? When you start something new where it's work, but it's actually fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like work anymore.
Yeah.
I think we're finally getting to that point.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then all the people you meet, man, the guests come in. I mean, like you're 100.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that means there's been like
I feel honored to be the guest 100 here in this episode, and I mean, you guys. I mean, I know Daniel's been like reaching out to me several times to try to get this to happen, and that's part of the hard work that I can tell that you guys are talking about because it's always on the go, reaching out. Hey, are we not going to do it? I got these dates. It's persistent, and persistency and consistency are the keys on everything. And I'm glad to be part of this, and I want to say a big thank you to you guys for inviting me. And I mean, I feel like a true Alaskan now, even though I'm being here for a short period of time. And I'm not planning to leave. In reality, I really love this place. I always tell everybody I went from paradise, which is Costa Rica, to the northern paradise, which is Alaska.
Oh, man,
I
well
feel
said.
Yeah, no, I mean this paradise. I tell everybody you got to come and check it out.
How'd you get here?
Absolutely.
I mean, I got here driving the first time.
I
went all the way from Tampa, Florida to Anchorage, Alaska in 4.5 days.
Wow.
I basically did it nonstop. I grabbed one of my friends, Chris, and I told him, hey, we're going to Alaska.
Yeah.
Like, really? All right. So we jumped in the car. We left Tampa around midnight and drove all the way to Chicago that first day. We got to Chicago around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, spent the night there. The next day, we probably hit the road around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, kind of a little late. We hit all the way to Mount Rushmore. We got there late at night. We found a little hotel on the side of the road. We woke up in the morning, like, all right, let's go and see the faces. And then, all right, we finally hit the road around probably 11 o'clock in the morning. That was a little later. We got to Sweetgrass, Montana. That's where I was planning to go across the border. Thankfully, still only essentials were supposed to go across. And, I got there to Sweetgrass, Montana around 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to the border, took all the tarps off my truck. I had my dirt bike loaded up and everything. So, I get to the border. I look left and right, and there's nobody in the border. The border's wide open. And I'm like, passport check. What I do I wait? Well, I put my truck in gear and into Canada I went. I'm like, hopefully nobody will stop me. If somebody do, I mean, I have nothing to hide. Check me, whatever, So, at that point, I told my friend, here we go. We're not stopping anywhere. We got gas. We got a cooler with food and whatever we need, drinks. So let's go. And we made it all the way up here, like basically no stop. On the process, basically getting to the Yukon territory, I got airborne with my truck.
Oh, hit those frosties.
Oh yeah. Well, this guy coming from 80 miles an hour Florida speed limit, coming out this 80 miles. Oh, sorry, wrong type of kilometer mileage. I was coming a little fast for sure, and I was something they hit this frosty, and I just preloaded the truck perfectly, got him there. My friend wakes up, I was like, "Are we in there?" I finally yeah. Landed. I'm on the side of the road completely sideways. Finally, drifted all the way around 3 times. Finally got it to settle all down. Okay.
Oh, you almost ate shit.
Oh yeah, big time.
My God.
Big time. No, I got big time airborne. It was like a little jump. No, it was a pretty big jump. And so we finally got off. My dirt bike was off to the side a little bit, so we had to pick it back up and all right, here we go. And we made it here to my sister's house. Offload everything, and then we went up to Big Lake because it was I think it was 4th of July weekend.
Oh, perfect.
So that was my
Nice
goal.
timing.
That's why I was trying to drive so fast to make it here so we can go to spend the 4th of July weekend. So yeah, that was a wild adventure. We got to see so much wildlife and stuff. It was like get to see it all, basically when you do that drive. Yeah. So looking forward eventually to do it again, but maybe in reverse.
Do the other way.
Yeah.
Watch out for those Frosties in the Yukon.
Yeah.
So your sister was already here.
Yeah, she's been here for at least 8 to 10 years now.
Okay, and what brought her here?
She graduated college, and she was looking for a job, and my uncle's been here for over 30 years. Okay. So my dad talked to him, and he's like, hey, will you help my daughter to find a job? So she came up here. He helped her out a little bit, and then she went on her own. And now she's been here. She has one of the best group of friends. Actually, you probably met her when you went to the event in Seattle. She was there. Did. Yeah, she was like the organizer of that trip, basically. Okay. And everything happened because she got to make a Facebook group, and on the settings she made it public instead of private. So everybody started finding out that they were going to Seattle to see me perform. So we just proceed with it. So the group went to it was like 73 Alaskans that came down to Seattle to support me on that event. That was like such a cool experience. They all made like custom T-shirts. It was so cool. Such a great experience to have all my friends down there. I still remember. And this year we're going back on the same date.
It's happening again. Yeah. Okay, nice. We got to do that.
Yeah, dude, does your sister have a public Facebook group again?
I don't know. I don't think she's making one this year. But well, I mean, Monster Jam has a page there that says when it is, and everybody can come and support me. I'll be very happy to host everybody down there.
Yeah,
beautiful, man.
And when I went down there, like I know several of the people in the group, and we were going already down to watch a Kraken game, and it was like a boys' trip, and at first they're like, well, let's go check out the the Monster Jam, and it was like, oh, okay, well, is that for kids or whatever, and then we go to it.
Yeah.
We had this is like 5 grown men just like just yelling, screaming, just like the sounds and everything. And it was like, oh, we wish we had our kid. I like FaceTime my kids. I'm like showing them all the pictures. So don't let it feel like if you don't have kids, like it is for adults and children.
It's for all the family. Venue, man. Totally. No, it's for the whole entire family. That's the coolest thing about Monster Jam. I mean, for everybody who never been to a monster truck show, they always think it's like, oh, it's such a like redneck hillbilly show. And it is not. It has broken out from being that. What we're doing with these trucks, the way we're pushing the limits, it's to a whole other level. The trucks have their own schemes, the body schemes that people and kids can interact. Plus the old school trucks like Gravedigger, Maximum Destruction, they've been there for so many years. Yep. So it's for everybody. And then you get a variety of drivers that from all ages, from all areas of the world.
Yep.
So it's a big variety of people that kids can relate, adults can relate, and we're just happy. Imagine, just think about it. My job, I'm driving a 1,500 horsepower Monster Jam truck. Week after week, when I can flip it, I can do whatever I want with this truck. So I'm so excited to be driving my truck every weekend. That's why when we do the pit parties, which is hours prior to the event, all the kids can come and talk to us and the adults and take pictures. That to me is one of my favorite parts of the day. It's a little exhausting because you're entertaining people for 4 hours,
answering lots of questions.
Yes, but it's still like that's where I get the opportunity to talk to everybody and ask them like, hey, what do you want me to do in this event? Who's your favorite truck? And I'm like, well, if you like this truck better, why don't you like me? What do I have to do to be your favorite? So it's a great experience, a great time that I get to share with all the fans. And then when people actually get to see the event, it's a real competition. I'm a competitive person that I'm going to line up against anybody. I'm going to race. I'm not going to, even if they tell me you need to let him win, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. That's just the way I am.
Buckle that chin strap. Let's go time.
Why am I strapping so hard to just let somebody else win? No. So yeah, no, the event is actually like extremely amazing. It has become very far from where it started. So I invite everybody to make an effort to bring your kids and all your family and come and spend a good weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like we tell all the kids, the louder you guys scream, the bigger we're going to go, because actually we can hear them inside the truck sometimes.
Yeah, if they're really raging
awesome.
out,
You got to convince them to come to Alaska.
Oh yeah.
Well, we talked about it. It's been and one of the possibilities. The thing to come up here, there's not a big enough venue that we can do 1 or 2 events.
I was just thinking about that. Like, where would we have something like that?
So there's an arena. The arena could be doable, but then it's not affordable because, well, all the transportation of the trucks up here, plus the amount of seating that we'll have to do like a 5-event weekend in order to make it profitable for the.
Okay.
So that's the way I look at it. And then we think, well, maybe the state fair. Well, we'll have to bring a whole bunch of containers to put like safety holds. All these containers have to have like concrete blocks behind them. Then you have to build grandstands, like where people are going to be sitting. They have to be basically 15 feet above the playground of the trucks for safety. Those are things that Monster Jam makes a difference in our events. Safety for the people that come and support us every week. If it is not safe, Monster Jam is not going to do it.
Right.
And from every point, for the point of the spectator, and even for my point of view. Like if they see something's not safe for me to do, they're not going to let me. As much as I believe and I want to do it, like nope.
Yeah.
So that's why we are the leaders. This company is the leader on the industry, and because we produce a family friendly, 100% safe event. And then the other cool things, there's no script. Everything happens because, like I said, it's real competition. When we are out there, we're all putting everything we can to become the number one. It's so fun, lining up with old school drivers, newer drivers. There's a bunch of girls now these girls, hats off
I saw that with the rosters, man. Tons and tons of women in there.
This year, they got even 2 or 3 new ones. So the population of female drivers is growing a lot in the industry.
Sweet.
And it's cool to watch. I mean, these girls are coming in there whooping everybody's butt basically on the track, and you're like, well, I was expecting that.
Yeah, that's rad.
I mean, it's not for being like any like judging the girls or anything good, but like, wow, you never expect that to come in, especially in a monster truck. A lot of people get afraid. Even myself, sometimes I used to get afraid when I line up against certain ramps. It's not is it like intimidation because you're not used to it. And some of these new girls, they just get there the first day and they're already like, whoa, where do you come with all this experience?
They got something to prove.
Yeah. So like I said, and now like for me, even that I've been around for 7 years driving now, I mean, I see it like I need to really start stepping up my game. I cannot just feel comfortable. I constantly have to be improvising and coming up with new moves and learning the new tricks that the new drivers are doing, because in 2 moments I'll be left behind. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
So as much as you'd feel like, oh, you're to the end, there's no new tricks that you can do, which that's the way you feel sometimes. There is a lot to do. Yeah. There is a lot to do, or like make it the perfect run. Like where you can do every single trick at every time when you want it. That's like when you can control. Well, it's gonna land from 20 feet up in there. It's gonna land perfectly. It's not gonna rebound. When you can dial a run like that, I feel like that's when you can be considered one of the best drivers in the industry. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I have in my series this year. I got Ryan Anderson and Tyler Meninga. There are 2 of the drivers. They are in that level of driving, controlling their truck at every moment, whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and the talent of those guys and their skill set pushes you, right?
Totally.
You want to level up with them. You want to get and even try to surpass them, right?
Totally. And one of my theories in life too is like, well, if you go snowboarding with bad snowboarders, you're not going to improve. If you go with good people, you're going to become good.
They push you.
And that's what happened to me here when I came here to Alyeska, start snowboarding with all my friends. So like they're so good. Well, I was just following them. I wasn't thinking about it. Like, well, they jump over here. I just went. I didn't care if I was going to land it. I didn't look. I just send it.
I'm with you guys.
So yeah, that's me normally on everything that I do. I just don't think about the consequences. I just do it and then think about it later.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense in that it seems like you kind of have to be wired a certain way to do what you're doing.
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
Right? I mean, just the risk and the confidence level to run these pieces of machinery like you do, it doesn't surprise me. You probably don't mind jumping a dirt bike either, right?
I don't mind it.
Well, that kind of leads me like to backtrack way back to maybe your childhood and like what created this ambition or maybe this dream for you eventually to become one of the Monster Jam athletes, and what does that road look like?
I'm going to be honest, like the dream of becoming a Monster Jam truck driver It probably wasn't a dream till after I became a part of the company. After I started working as a dirt guy, as a track builder for Monster Jam, because that's what I did before I became a driver. I mean, it's funny because like the way it happened, I was in Costa Rica, and my neighbor was the promoter of the motorsports there in Costa Rica, Mr. Manrique Mata. He does a lot of events, and he used to be the neighbor of my mom. Oh, no, he used to be a co-worker of my mother at the Toyota company back in the day, before I was even born. So anyway, one day I showed up, and he asked me, he's like, hey, how you doing? And do you speak English? I was like, yeah. It's like, I remember you when you were like 2 years old. He's like, what do you do on the weekends? Like, well, my high school sometimes requires me to go to school on weekends. He's like, well, give me your number. I'll call you if I got some events here and there. So I started helping him. I was carrying like bottles of water, his radios. I mean, for almost no money, but it was the cool experience. I wanted to be involved.
Yeah.
And so then he had Monster Jam come to the Costa Rica, and my job was to be a translator for the dirt crew.
Oh, okay.
So I was only 16 years old back then, and I started translating for the dirt crew, staying long hours, and my English was better than a lot of the people there in Costa Rica. So I started helping not just the dirt crew. I started helping the other departments of Monster Jam to get whatever they need translate to our team of Costa Rica. So that opened the door for me to like kind of get involved with Monster Jam. They offered me a job, and I'm like, well, I can't. I'm finishing high school. So, the opportunity kind of left like that. Then one day I'm home, and my dad's like, what are you going to do? You going to go to college, or are you going to start working? Because I just pour bombs in my house. And so I'm like, oh, yeah.
Sounds familiar.
So I called Monster Jam. So, yeah, no, I called Monster Jam, and next thing I know, they flew me to Minnesota. First time I've seen snow in my life. First time I run a piece of equipment in my whole life. And my job actually was to be the supervisor for all the flooring that we do for the field protection. So, well, in
like
a
the barriers and whatnot?
Yeah, basically we put plastic or geotech, then we put plywood, 3/4 inch plywood on a stadium. For a full floor, you use about 3,300 sheets of plywood.
Holy cow.
In Minnesota, it's 2 layers, so well, double that. And that was my job. I mean, they hire a bunch of laborers. I teach them how to lay it down. I supervise it was laid down correctly. And then after that, I started running equipment. We start pushing the dirt. We start building the ramps. So I started getting involved, jumping the forklift, jumping the loader, jumping whatever. I remember actually the first time I run a skid steer, they told me, hey, go up in that ramp and dump some dirt. Well, I started going up the ramp. I forgot to tilt the bucket forward as I was going up. Well, the whole bucket of dirt landed inside the cab. They have to come and dig me out of the cab because I couldn't even get out. How much dirt I put inside. I mean, I was only 17 years old.
Yeah.
So
learning the hard way.
Yeah. And all the dirt guys are just there on the side laughing, watching me fail, So I started building tracks, and I started developing, I guess, the company seeing some skill in the way I learned running equipment, how quickly, and that's basically what I did for about 7 years. Built a couple of tracks for Supercross and mostly for Monster Jam. And we went to Spain. And as soon as I finished building the track, we got back to the hotel working all night long. I put my head in the pillow and my phone rings and says, hey, Mark, our host didn't show up. Do you mind coming to the stadium and helping us out to be the host for the pit party? I'm like, well, I never done it, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
So, I got back up, went back to the stadium. They put me a white shirt, and they partnered me up with this girl, Lucy, from Spain, and we created a great team. Like back and forward, we were asking questions to the drivers, translating in Spanish to the team, to the people in Spain, and the company was impressed with like my skill in front of the camera, I believe, and that opened the door.
And you got thrown right into the fire. No
Pretty
training
much.
or anything,
Nothing.
right?
Nothing. But I've been watching events for 7 years, you know.
Yep.
So that helped me.
See the process.
That helped me out quite a bit. And then after that, that's when they invited me to go test behind the wheel of a Monster Jam truck. So I flew to North Carolina, Digger's Dungeon. That's where the original grave digger Dennis that's his house basically. So I trained for 3 days with Cynthia, which is actually she's driving my series this year. And another guy, Josh Hansen, he actually has been here to Alaska a couple of years ago. He came over spend some time up here with me. And so we tested out of them. Cynthia was the first one who got hired. It was 3 days. It was kind of some of the most intense days. First of all, I couldn't sleep the night before. Test for the first day. I was sharing the room with Josh Hansen. We were talking. He's like, all right, we need to go to bed. And then we close your eyes and then like, dude, and what are we going to be? We do a wheelie tomorrow. Or, all night long till next thing we know, it's like, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, we got to get up in like 2 hours. We really, really need to go to bed. So anyway, we showed up to the track. They have these seats that they're not custom made for us. So it's very different the way it used to be for testing. So we tested, and, well, I was pretty sore. I'm not going to lie. The day I flew out of North Carolina, I had some tears going out of my eyes every time there was turbulence on the plane.
Oh, you got saddle sore?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what? It's just one of those things, like, I want to do this. So you just push yourself through it. You don't care. So I did it, and I got back home, and it went for a full year before I finally heard something back from Australia. I even thought there's like, this opportunity is never going to happen.
Windows closed.
Yeah. Cynthia got hired like right away. She was on tour. So I was very disappointed about it. And then,
how'd you feel like it went for you?
I actually thought it went super good. I mean, I always been pretty natural when it comes to sports, like anything that involves adrenaline. I'm pretty a natural athlete when it comes to that. And so I was like disappointed for that reason. I was like, hey, I thought I did pretty good, and I didn't get my phone call. So, well, I kind of was getting ready to give up and kind of even quit Monster Jam for a little bit. I was kind of one of the ideas talking to my dad about maybe going back to Costa Rica. And they called me and said, hey, Mark, we want you to be part of the Monster Jam University. The Monster Jam University is actually a track that I built. It was located in Paxton, Illinois. That's where Tom Mintz, driver maximum destruction, 14 times world champion. He's the professor. He teaches and trains all the new
training grounds.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh, wow.
So now we have 2 training facilities. We have one in Florida and one in Paxton, Illinois. Both of them basically are directed by Tom Mintz. Now there's a couple other drivers that will get in there and help out to train newer drivers to beat. But anyway, so they invited me to the Monster Jam University. On this one, they tell me we're going to be doing the Triple Threat Series. So when I first started, I was racing with side-by-sides, ATVs, and Monster Jam trucks, all in the same night. There were 7 competitions. Like we started with the Monster Jam truck. Then we get out, change into the ATV gear, go and race like 2 hits of ATVs. Then you change into the fire suit and drive the side-by-side. Then you get back into the Monster Jam truck. Then back into the side-by-side. And then you finish with freestyle on your Monster Jam truck. So it was super
jam-packed.
intense. Super
Sounds
intense.
exhausting.
Yeah,
really, really exhausting. And like that's why I'm glad that tour doesn't exist. As cool as it was, I'm glad it doesn't exist because it's a lot for your body. And then we were doing 5 performances in one weekend sometimes. So,
wow.
And those were rare, but they did happen,
Yeah, push you guys.
I mean, people were wanting to really see this event, and
there's a demand for it, right?
So we were doing it, and it was amazing. Actually, on my first year after I graduated, we trained it for a full summer. And on that summer of training with Monster Jam, you're basically going to drive more than what the average driver would do on a full season. The amount of hours we'll spend. We'll train. We'll put 2 events in one day at the Monster Jam University. So those are things that, like, by the time you graduate, you're driving at the same level of one of the most experienced drivers.
Wow.
So
when you're at the university, do they use anything other than like the real, Monster Jam trucks? Like, do they have like little remote control things or anything that it's like, hey, this is how you can like practice and get more hours? Or no,
not
like simulators.
Finally now there's a simulator.
Okay,
but this happened like maybe during the years of COVID. That's when all the development of the simulator became like real.
Okay.
When the university probably shut down for a bit.
Yeah, everything shut down. So some people were there in the office like, well, let's actually get the project that we had about the simulator. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
So now they actually have a simulator that people can play. There's a game, Rigs and Rods, it's called. The graphics are not the great, but the way that you control the truck is very similar to the way it is. So that's where a lot of some drivers like Tyler Meninga, I know he had a lot of experience from playing Rigs and Rods. So he knew how to control that truck. That's how he started evolving on the industry, like making the stoppies, the moonwalks, all these crazy tricks that we were like, how is he even coming? He's a new driver. Well, mostly was from playing that video game. So he turned the industry and the sport and the tricks and stuff that we can do. He changed them a lot thanks to this video game. This video game is I never played it. I downloaded it once and I seen the graphics are like from 1990. But I don't know.
It does the job though. It actually trains new drivers.
Yeah.
Right?
So well, the Monster University, it's a great thing that exists. Obviously, a lot of people are like, how do I sign up for it? There's not a real way to sign up. I mean, right now they're offering, there's the UNOH, University of Northwestern Ohio or something like that. That helps the technicians to like become technicians, get involved with the industry, and one way or another, eventually get into becoming drivers. Some others just being at the right place, the right time. But if you get selected, I mean, it's a privilege. You're selected for a reason. If you get invited to be to the Monster University, they already study you left and right, and they have a good specific reason why they want you there. So when you get in there,
and referrals, I imagine, from the peers and
sometimes
people in the industry
referrals,
too, right?
videos. I mean, they're looking for a certain specific way they want you to look, whatever reason it is. I mean, they have their ways of marketing
criteria,
and then once you graduate, I mean, like I said, you become driving at the same level of one of the most experienced drivers. And then, my first year, I didn't make it till past February on my season because I had an accident.
It was January to July.
Right? Now has extended. When I first started the first quarter, that was the season. Basically, we ended like mid-March, almost April.
Okay.
That was it. And now the way it has grown so much, now we go all the way till July, and then you say, okay, it's over. No, it's not over, because then the international season starts. And now it has grown so much that for this year, the international season is going to be during the same months that we're racing here in the U.S. So now they're creating a whole new tour. They're going to start to tour international at the same time as we're touring here in the U.S.
And so they're just like barging the trucks and everything?
Yeah, they have to send, like, for example, if we do Australia, which that's a very common market that we go to, the trucks have to be shipped months prior,
Wow.
So you got to sacrifice. That's usually after the first quarter. The event starts slowing down in the U.S., so they grab some of the trucks out of here and send them over to Australia, and some others to Europe. So they will have drivers. Okay, we'll fly to Australia. Then from there, we fly you to Europe, and the other trucks are there, and they create a whole tour. Now the international tour is growing so much that we just need to have a set of vehicles that are going to stay
in those countries.
Yeah.
Like I have the international schedule. I don't know how accurate this is. We have Sweden, Africa, Arab Emirates, Germany, Netherlands. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
that big.
It's been crazy. I mean, I had the opportunity to go to Mongolia. I've been to Abu Dhabi. We went to Singapore, New Zealand, like I said, Australia, Argentina, Chile, Brazil.
Amazing. I mean, to see the world doing
pretty
this.
Pretty much. I mean, there was one year that, I mean, pretty much I visited every continent with Monster Jam. That was like crazy. We were flying like literally from Australia back to Germany, from Germany back to China. So it's amazing the logistics that are involved in Monster Jam to be able to produce this, but it's doable. We've been doing it, and this year, like, it's growing so much. That's why we're going to launch a whole new tour. There's going to be doing all these international dates you're saying. I think some of those dates happen even the same week the World Finals happen.
Okay.
So that's why, like, a lot of us drivers were like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do South Africa again. South Africa was so fun when we went that I want to go back. And sadly, I'm going to miss that one because that's like almost in the same weeks as the World Finals. So it's like, well, I mean, the World Finals, I definitely have to be here. But I mean, there's some countries that we've been able to go. They're so cool. It's a great opportunity that Monster Jam gives me that. But back to like on my first season after graduating, I'd only make it till February because I had an injury with the ATV, which that's the main thing. But I didn't want to be racing. I broke a clavicle and 4 ribs, so that put me out for 4 months. And then I came back the next season, pretty hard. Made it to the World Finals the next year, and well, not completely into the game, but it made it to the qualifying, made it to the semifinals, and then lost it against Tristan, which he's the one who won it. He's the one who covered me when I broke my clavicle, so I feel proud about it. It's like, well, at least he was the guy who came over and took my spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's been a wild journey for sure. Then I had to learn. I mean, I'm very competitive, so I had to learn how to like know what placement am I and what event. I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter how hard I try. If we are in North Carolina, you know that people is Gravedigger land.
Okay,
so
that's his.
So it doesn't matter how good
his territory.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good of a run I put, unless I pull out something completely crazy that's like impossible to do. It's almost impossible to win and
He's got
score.
the home field advantage.
Yes. So that's when you have to learn to like really where you at, when you at, when it's good time to really, is it worth it to break your truck this weekend? Do something like completely crazy. Are you gonna win? Because I mean, if you win, you're not gonna get in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go and break your truck and not win, it's like, well, maybe you gotta reconsider. Your mechanic's gonna get pretty mad at you.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back with more monster trucks.
That's it.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaska public lands, waters, and wildlife. From national level policy work to engagement with boots on the ground projects from Kotzebue to Ketchikan. BHA performs public land cleanups, hunting and fishing clinics, and community education to help take your game to the next level. BHA's community-minded goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping wildlands wild and fostering the next generation of sportsmen and women for years to come. Make sure to follow BHA Alaska for upcoming events, local brewery pint nights, and more. Stand up for Alaska public lands and waters by supporting the Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Join us today at backcountryhunters.org.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day, because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com. Because before it was like a limited amount. You were only able to press so much.
He was, he was kind of like, okay, I want to be a farmer, and I'm gonna farm rhubarb. And he had like, I don't know, a couple 100 pounds, and then we're like more, and now we buy all of it. Yeah,
just for us.
2,300 pounds, I think, is what we pressed today.
Nice.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For people that want to follow you on Instagram, it's marklist539. Why 539?
My birthday. Been in Spanish.
539.
Okay.
March 5th, 1990.
Okay.
Nice, dude.
Okay. Got it. You have to probably explain that a lot to people, huh?
Yeah. So no, some people get it. Hispanic people get it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way we say the date.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Some people are like, what 539 race number?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't even question because everybody thinks that's just my race number. But no, it's actually my birthday.
Got it.
Is that your race number 2?
I'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had on my dirt bike,
All right.
Oh, perfect.
Sweet.
which I sold last year. Not too happy about it, but well, it wasn't being used. It was just sitting here in the hangar. It's like, nope.
Is it 250?
300, 2-stroke.
A 300 2-stroke?
Yeah.
Is that a bored out 250? What is that?
No, that's the KTM 300.
Okay. So I'm like sort of familiar with it. So it's like 125, 250. And I thought after 250 to get a bigger, I thought you had to go to 4 strokes.
Well, now KTM has come out with all these new technology, and they're like going like they have the 300. They actually had a 350 2-stroke for a while.
Holy smokes!
But then they back it out to the 300, and now they just came out with a 350 4-stroke with the weight of the 2-stroke. The same control. It has some traction control, which I don't understand much the traction control on a dirt bike, but it has traction control.
I feel like that would like really limit you.
Really?
I feel that too. It has some mapping that you can do. It's pretty amazing. These new KTMs that are coming, the weight and the power is like you can do whatever you want with this dirt bike. Wow. I mean, to your knees, and
They're really getting technical now, huh?
Yes, and the power in that 300 2-stroke is top of the line. Like I'm so happy. Yeah. So yeah, no, but too much money to be sitting on a hangar without being used. So somebody
just getting dust on
somebody
it.
here in Alaska is definitely having fun with it.
They're enjoying that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I was curious on how they assign like what truck you drive.
Well, so for me, the company has their way of looking on who's going to drive what. But like for me, when I got the opportunity to get into Monster Jam, they asked me if I wanted to drive the truck El Diablo. It was a devil-looking truck, Hispanic. It was a very cool-looking truck, actually. But then I thought for several reasons. One, well, I'm Catholic. And then in the Hispanic culture, I mean, I was thinking like a kid want to say, Mom, I want the toy of El Diablo. If it is like Latinos, for the most part, the mom's like, no, I'm not going to let you have something that represents the devil.
Yeah.
So I kind of used that in my advantage, and I told the companies like, hey, in reality, I don't feel comfortable driving something that represents the devil, and they respect it. So then we got to Mexico City in 2015, I think. That's my first year that I drove. And I got to Mexico, and there's Lupe Sosa, original driver of El Toro Loco. And he's like, hey, Mark, what are you driving this week? And I'm like, El Toro Loco. And he's like, what? What am I driving? And I'm like, I don't know. El Diablo, I think. It's like, well, I brought only El Toro Loco fire suit and stuff. So he called back to the office, and he's like, no, you're going to be driving. We swapped. Mm-hmm. And since then, I became the El Toro Loco driver. And then Lupe went to El Diablo for about a year. And then El Diablo is no longer around. So we haven't seen that body. I mean, the other day I got questioned actually last week in San Diego. Somebody asked me about the El Diablo body. It was a very cool body, but it cost very expensive because it was all 3D.
So much material to make it.
Yeah, and sadly, that's the way all the new bodies are going. I mean, they're going into these 3D, which costs a lot of money to produce, but the trucks look amazing. And
versus just flat panels that look kind of generic.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, they were all square bodies, you know, and now it's like all 3D, rounded, and horns and flames. And
what's a good example of like kind of like the craziest 3D truck now?
Well, there's the Bakugan Dragonoid. That's one of the sponsors.
What's it called?
Bakugan Dragonoid.
Oh,
what's that mean?
It's from Spin Master, which is the toy producer.
Oh, okay.
So that's like his own identity.
Bakugan.
How do
you spell that?
With a K.
B-A-K?
B-A-K.
Oh, there it is right
there.
there.
Dang.
Boom.
That rhino looking.
Oh, man.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a
is
lot going on there.
Crazy.
Ah, crap.
So
Looks like a toy maker made it.
yeah, no, for sure. And that's the way the company's going to all these crazy bodies like that.
Yeah. And this body will be ruined in one.
So they have Camden Murphy, which he is a NASCAR driver also. He's the one drives it, and he does a very good job of trying not to tear it up.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? In monster trucks, as much as you try not to, it's going to happen. And if they tell you don't roll, it's like telling you go and roll. So the company learned after so many years to tell you to not even say anything, because like the moment you take care of this body needs to last for 2 weeks. And then you go out there and you definitely gonna smash it.
Try me.
It's not. It's just like a curse that you have. The moment to take care of it.
Don't tell me to keep it nice.
Yeah. So no. I mean, I've been guilty of that a lot of times. They tell me like don't roll, and I rolled 3 times that weekend.
Yeah.
Did Gravedigger kind of start that 3D body kind of style? I asked that because the Gravedigger has that cool like old 55 Chevy Suburban kind of like body look, versus the other vehicles were trucks,
right?
With
So
like beds and cabs, and this was a full body.
So I don't know if it's gonna come from Gravedigger, the 3D part, because I mean he used an old school body style.
I just mean as it evolved over the years, it seemed to me the more like eclectic.
Actually, Toro Loco was one of the first ones to have the 3D body.
With the horns,
with curved lips
Yeah.
and horns
Yeah.
and nostrils and things.
Yeah, it was
fair enough.
Bulldozer back in the day. I mean, he was one of the first ones.
Bulldozer.
right.
That's another one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because he was more like a pale looking color, and then he went to like a kind of red brownish looking truck, and now it's this bright orange. Well, we had the yellow version also, and then we had a black version, and now it's this bright orange, which I like the orange color better.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
I mean, the black body is. I wish they would bring it back because I mean it just looks nice, but. It's traditional. I mean, for some reason, I have an orange truck too here in Alaska. I like the orange.
Yeah, you got a Yoda, right?
Yeah, it's on my desk up for sale in case somebody wants it.
Oh yeah.
So Bulldozer and El Toro are very similar.
They're
almost the same kind of body.
basically is the same body, just changing colors and name.
The horns are a little different.
The Bulldozer was the first one who came out. White horns, you know.
Yep.
Oh, that one looked like it has knobbies, so that one probably roll over.
Oh, they busted them off.
Yeah, so that was the cool thing. So the horns used to be fiberglass before, so when you roll over, they used to break. So that they used to cut him and just put the little knobbies like that.
That's cool.
So I like him a lot, but now we are using kind of a blend of plastic and fiberglass.
Okay.
So they're a little more durable. When it's too cold, they don't last. When it's hot, they just kind of fold, so you can grab a torch, heat them up again, you can get them back into shape. So now, I mean, I used to go through so many horns in one season of competition, over 80 set of horns.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a lot.
You got some hanging on your wall.
Well, I also learned how not to roll over that much. Fortunately.
Just don't talk about it, and I won't roll.
So when you go to a competition, do they like allot you, this many hoods and this many horns, and like how does that work?
Well, I mean, there's kind of like a budget. They kind of have an idea like, well, we're going to have 2 events this weekend. Technically, in 2 events, I should be able to make one body last 2 events.
Okay.
So like when we go international, that's when it changes a little bit because you're going to be on the road for let's say a month. Because you're going to go 3 different cities. So you're probably only going to send 2 bodies. So if you go on the first weekend and you destroy your body, it's like, well, you have 2 more weekends to go and you only have 1 body left if we're already putting it on. Because, if we're going to do a pit party, we don't want to have a body that looks all destroyed and stuff. We want a truck to look.
This one right here.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lack thereof a body.
But is that in the back of your mind, like, I don't want to ruin the body? Or
I mean, my goal in reality is to go and be able to pull all the coolest tricks without touching the body. If I can
Keep it
finish,
clean.
if I can drive that truck off the track with without a single broken part, without a single broken piece of body. And I pull one of the coolest performances I could ever do. That's like a day.
The win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. That's what I look forward. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. I mean, people, like we talk in between drivers, like, I mean, you go out there for a freestyle and you try to plan it out. Like, yeah, I'm going to jump here. I'm going to jump there. I'm going to come over here, going to say hi to the people over here. But then by the 4th, 5th jump, well, you're going to jump, and you're going to land here, and the truck just decides to go the other way. So you just have to improvise. And then at that moment, it just becomes a mess, you know, because, like, you cannot have a routine of planning it. I mean, I watch a lot of my videos. Yeah, most of my videos, you see I start kind of the same jump. I come around. I get through the first 4 hits on the same jumps. But then after that, it just comes completely improvised. Like, I cannot plan it. I cannot.
Just start winging it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we say it's like controlling an elephant. You can pull the reins and try to tell him where to go. But if he wants to go to the other side, he's going to go that way.
Just go for it.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. Do you guys still do, like, you'll do your run and then jump out and wave?
Totally.
And then, like, get back in the truck and then rip again? Isn't there like or am I
like an encore kind of thing?
Yeah, like if I remember when I was a kid watching, because I haven't watched Monster Jam in a while, but now I'm going to watch it. I remember like the driver I felt like it was like halfway through the performance, he would like get out and then he would jump back in the truck and rip around some more. Is that right? I don't have that twisted up.
I don't think that will do, because it takes a little bit of time to put all your seatbelts back on you, and you want to be strapped pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, maybe back in the day they were crazy and just like used just regular seatbelts.
I think that's what it was. They got out of there so much easier, it seemed like.
So like what we do.
This is the 90s we're talking about.
Right.
All right. This is back in the day.
I was just being born.
No helmets.
Yeah, no helmet.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have a video somewhere saved in my social media. There's this monster truck. It jumps, and you can see the body of the person literally goes from the left side all the way to the right side, back to the left from one little jump. And that's because they used to go to the junkyard and find the most comfortable seat they could find in the junkyard and put it into the monster truck, and that's what they were driving.
Yeah.
Then they will put like a little neck pillow to try to keep their neck from moving.
Yeah.
If they didn't have a neck pillow, they would wrap a towel around their neck and just go and drive to keep their head straight.
Stable. Yeah.
So I mean, the technology has evolved so much in the monster truck industry to the point that we actually became like guinea pigs on safety for Formula One, for NASCAR. They look into what we do. I mean, we're basically submitting our bodies into a 2-minute car accident. I mean, most of the people don't even last a 2-second of the car accident, you know? So,
let alone like thinking things through. And
I mean, think about it. You're driving here with all the snow. You slide for maybe a second. By the time you hit, your impact is about 0.2 seconds, and most of the people don't even make it. They have broken backs or something like that. We are jumping these Monster Jam trucks. They're heavy. We're back doing backflips. And all the technology that we have, we run a 7-point seatbelt harness, which that wasn't used till not long ago.
What is a 7-point?
So, well, the normal seatbelts you see in most of like NASCAR and stuff is a 5-point. So you got your shoulders, you got your lap belt, you got your crotch belt. The 7-point is 2 straps that come basically from below your ass cheeks into your crotch, gets over your lap belts and latch into your shoulder belts all together. That's creating your legs to be strapped in, so when you go into a forward impact, you will not slide out of the seat.
Yeah,
because if your pelvis bone gets out of the seat, your shoulders will drop on the seat, and then in that moment your neck becomes loose. Your neck device will not work because you're lower. So then at that point you're loose. That's how you break your neck. So by keeping your hip bones, your pelvis bone in the seat in the same position, you can secure your neck, and then you're never going to move.
Right.
You're always in the right position. So that's why we implemented that 7-point seatbelt harness, and it's becoming extremely efficient.
Wow.
So yeah, it's weird. It's uncomfortable. It's like you have 2 extra belts that are like in your way, but it makes a big difference. If I don't have them, I feel very like insecure when I don't have them. They're not too tight. Like if I'm strapped in, I'm completely ready to go. I can grab them and I feel them loose. They're not really squeezing me like you think. Like, so why are they there for? But when you get into an impact that goes forward, that's when it really holds you there. So you never come out.
Yeah. But your head can move freely?
No, I have a Hans device. I mean, that's used very common in most of the motorsports.
What's it called?
Hans. It's a carbon fiber piece that goes on your neck. It connects into your helmet. And then you put your seat belts on top of the Hans device.
Okay.
So when you pull your shoulder belts down, it pulls your Hans device back and doesn't allow your neck to move forward, back, left, or right. Then on top of that, we have the restraints on the seat already. So, we have some padding and stuff. It's basically I have to squeeze my helmet in there so it doesn't move inside at all. And if you have a little bit of movement, what's going to cause is a headache. Because a little movement will be just like left and right a little bit. So if that happens, you grab a little bit of foam and you put it on the sides to prevent that from your head from moving. And then the seat is custom built for me. They measure my body. They send it to Simpson. They build our seats. They send the ISP seats. Actually, that's what we're using. Then we got it back at the office and we grab all the foam. We'll take it out and we do a seat pour. We pour this gel. I get in it.
Oh wow!
And
like
this
a mold.
This gel will grow. So when I get into my seat, I can feel all my vertebrates on that seat pour.
Wow!
So I have to get back into that same position every time. So that's what I was telling. Actually, this weekend we were talking about it. I have a brand new seat. Every time I get on it, I have to really make sure that then I am in that same position where I was when I poured.
In line in that seat.
Wow.
Yeah, so till I find it, sometimes I have to strap one time, let everything loose, move a little bit, and strap again till I find that position. Then that's when I'm comfortable driving.
Okay.
So the way I describe the seat of a Monster Jam truck is the funnest truck you can ever be in, but it's the most uncomfortable seat you will ever sit on. The first weekend, it's the first weekend out, so a lot of people are new. Things get delayed. We're practicing, and I normally don't strap in the whole event no more than 5 minutes in the seat, and that's a 2-hour event. Obviously, there's other drivers. I'll get in there and I'm loose. The moment I'm going to go and run, that's when I strap in. I strap super tight to the point where I'll get bruises from the seatbelt from how tight I am.
Yep.
But then you want to release. So if something gets delayed, if I'm supposed to go after you, for example, and you roll over, I want to be there because I was already strapped, ready to go.
Yeah.
You'll have to be stuck in that chair.
Yeah. If
15 minutes, 10 minutes, whenever the cleanup or recovery is.
Yeah. For the most part, it's like 2.5 minutes. What takes the rollover or the recovery?
Okay.
But sometimes you can go to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if I stay there for 5 minutes, by the time it's time to do my run, I'm like, I can't. Like, get me out of here. Let me out.
Yeah.
It's pretty aggravating sometimes. Yeah. So that happened actually like the first weekend of the season a couple of times. I mean, we were learning, trying to get something going.
Right.
And I actually had to get out.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I told my crew chief, like, I'm getting out. I'm not finishing the practice because, like, I can't.
My legs are numb.
We've been here for a good 2 hours.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's all about safety.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. If it wasn't safe, I wouldn't do it. People ask me, don't you get afraid? And you see like the last couple of videos where I was jumping super high. Like the first couple of times I did it, I don't know,
20, 30 foot in the air?
At least 20 feet for sure.
That one jump where the body's torn up, you got really airborne right there.
Yeah, that one was.
A 4-story house.
Did that hurt when he landed?
That one didn't hurt when it landed. I did bottom out my seat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, you felt
Is it on a spring?
No, you don't want to move.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So, but there's like aluminum plate underneath that I think I push it down because after that seat wasn't comfortable for me. Like I felt like.
But you changed the structural integrity of the seat.
Yeah, so that's what
that inertia, just squishing down.
It could. Totally. They try to argue with me. It's like, there's no way with that jump that you could have modified your seat.
I'm sitting in this thing, man.
I am the one. It doesn't feel the same way. It requires a lot of force in order to do that. But the seat is aluminum. So that's why another reason why we don't let other people get in our seats. People are like, can I get in your truck? Can I sit on? We normally don't allow the fans to, like, hey, get up in our truck. Because they can change the shape of your seat. You got your rib support, you got your neck support, you got everything. So even our crew guys, like our crew chief, then when the technicians, when they get in there, like sometimes your concerns, like, well, I don't really want the technician to be on my seat because it's going to stretch it, it's going to modify it.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the other details of the truck as far as like engine, tire size, suspension? I mean, for all the gear heads out there that are curious about that.
Well, I mean, the engine is a 545 big block Chevy engine, basically. It's built in-house. This engine produces 1,500 horses, runs with a blower and methanol. So that's why we produce so much horsepower out of it. Methanol, I mean, 99% alcohol. That's our fuel. So this makes the Monster Jam truck to be like extremely volatile, you know, by having the methanol. That's something that, I mean, I'm so impressed how it is. It burns so hot that you will get, if the truck caught on fire, you can get near it. You don't see a flame. You can just feel the heat.
Oh, wow.
So that's a cool fact. I mean, these trucks are weighing about 12,000 pounds. They're about 12 feet tall. So I mean, they're pretty big and heavy. And I mean, the suspension, we have basically 2 sets of suspension per tire. So it's basically 2, 4, 6, 8 shocks in the truck. That's what we have. And everything is built for safety in that truck. Safety for the fans, safety for the driver. If you see, like on our brake rotors, now before they used to be just like wide open. Now you can see them glowing red a lot of the times. But now we have a whole metal caging going around the rotor, so in case it gets super hot and the metal decides to melt, it's not going to go flying.
Right.
You know, our tires, before they used to, you always see them when they will break a tire and the tire just goes bouncing across the floor. Those still happen, but now we have some tethering system throughout everything. The blower has like 3 tethers. In case it decides to blow up, it's not going to go up into the stands. Everything is built and designed for the safety of the fans on our event. Sometimes people ask, why don't you guys do this? Why there's so many seats blocking the bottom?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Protect people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Is there a fire suppression system?
So, yeah, I have a built-in fire extinguisher in my truck that in case if there's an emergency, I pull the pin and they'll start blowing the fire extinguisher all over. Plus, I mean, all the technicians and the safety technicians that they're there.
Yeah.
Those are the people who will come to the emergency.
Aid,
the first
they're all
ones to come
hauling
there.
out.
They turn the power on the truck. They check on me.
Yep.
If everything is good, they will turn it into the dirt crew so they can flip the truck back onto the wheels.
Yeah.
And it's like a teamwork.
Yeah.
Those are the people. If I roll over, they will come over and check on the cage, make sure there's no cracks in the cage. If there's a crack, it's fixable. Can I return with a crack cage? For the most part, if it is cracked, you don't get to unless it's fixed. It depends where it's at, you know.
Right.
So it's a lot of logistics, and sometimes, I mean, especially now that we're in a point series competition, we wanna like push our limits. Like we don't care. Like, hey, let me go. I'm trying to compete for the points.
Right.
And it's hard because I mean, like I said, we're also competitive. But we got to understand that safety is more important.
That's right.
So that's why there's like what we say, the party poopers out there, you know, they come like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And we have to accept it. I mean, I understand it's hard. I mean, Tyler was fighting the other day a little bit about it for the same reason. It's like, well, it's hard to accept it for us because we're good. We know what we're capable to do. And when they come tell us no, it's like, okay. Yeah.
You just kind of got to deal with it.
You have to accept it. Yeah,
it's always just safety first and move on.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an event for all the family. We don't want the family to come to one of our events and see something bad happen.
See some carnage or somebody get really hurt.
Fortunately, it has a good record in the company. We're still smiling after every event. Everybody goes home happy. And that's the way we want to keep it. We want to keep this. I mean, it's amazing. The industry is growing. Like I said, it's growing. The markets of places that we want to go to in the future. it's just gonna be it's becoming way better. We want to go to a lot of new markets that the company's trying to launch. Like a pay-per-view with the VRs, so that's going to be so amazing to watch. Like for the people to be able to be watching like at the World Finals. I want to watch Mark drive the truck.
Yeah, in the driver's view.
Yes. That's the goal. That's the goal. I don't know how far it's coming from, but it's coming.
It'll get there, man.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Get there.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, there's so many new things coming up for the way that people can get involved, and with the market of like new countries, new places that we can go. Like I'm excited to see where this industry is going to be 10 years from now. All I know is it's going to be way better than what it is. Also,
it just keeps getting better, it seems like. Also
more competition, a lot of the independents. There's a lot of independent drivers, and now they're competing at the same level as the company trucks. So that's very interesting to watch, to see. So that's making the company trucks drive even harder. So I give this company like another 5 years, 10 years when we're going to see a lot of radical changes into the sport.
Yeah. So when you say independent companies, as we were talking before, like when I went to the show, I want to say maybe one of the most famous original trucks when we were little was Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that he wasn't at the event. So that's because he's an independent and he's outside of the Monster Jam brand.
Correct. That's what's happening. Bigfoot has his own tour. Actually, he's touring, I think, with Hot Wheels. So he has his own tour. He's not racing with us. I don't know what reason. I heard some rumors that there was some conflict back in the day. Whatever it was, he's just not with us. I mean, I when I first started knowing about monster trucks when I was in Costa Rica, I knew about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's what I knew about. In Costa Rica and a lot of the Latin countries, people call monster trucks Bigfoots. They don't call them monster trucks. They call them Bigfoots.
They relate to that.
All the monster trucks are Bigfoots. You know. So
it's so iconic to the image of a monster truck,
right?
A big blue Ford,
right?
Yeah.
It's like what you remember. It's what you know.
Totally. So no, it's funny because like I mean I do remember watching when I was in Costa Rica watching Monster Jam on TV at the beginning. I remember watching Gravedigger always with the red headlights. I mean he's been around 45 years now.
Yeah. That's a really iconic truck.
Right, and he's the one who started always like with on the ragged edge every single time that he went out in his truck. Like he went out there pushing the limit.
Tearing that body up
every single time. And then we got Tom Mintz that he came back. He had his own truck as well. Tom Mintz was known for pushing the limit. When he roll over, when he break his truck, he didn't care. He continued driving with 3 wheels. Yeah, that was Tom Mintz style.
And what was his truck?
A Maximum Destruction. Actually, it was Goldberg back in the day.
Okay.
I'll look up Maximum Destruction real quick. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that one looks like.
Actually, this year he's running a whole new body because it's his anniversary.
All right.
25 or 30 year anniversary.
Maximum Destruction.
Yeah. So can the independent drivers come and compete in the World Championship stuff?
Yes, they can.
Oh, that's a separate or they allow them to come in. Okay. Is that still a Monster Jam event?
The World Finals is a Monster Jam event.
Okay, but they'll allow independents to come in.
Yes. They have to compete in the series.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not like, hey, Bigfoot, you're going to come and race with us. No, you have to compete in the point series competition.
To qualify.
Right. To qualify to the World Finals.
Got it.
The World Finals now, we used to do it always in Las Vegas. Then it went to Orlando for 2-3 years, and now we're going to start moving, I think, every year. This year is going to be in Nashville on July 1st, right before 4th of July weekend. Yep. So, Nashville is going to be fun. We're all a little concerned because Nashville, you can stay up to a little too late before a race, so we got to stay focused on racing. Fun city.
Yeah, what a cool spot. And hot that time of year, too.
That's what we were saying. It's going to be super hot for us drivers in those fire suits in there. It's going to be a little miserable, so get some cooling towels, whatever we can. There's a cooling system that was tried before. It's like a cooling suit. So you had like a cooler that you plugged in and you had like water in there, and then it pumps water to your suit. like on these tubes. A lot of the drivers who use it said that every time they turn it on, it felt like you were pissing your pants.
Weird sensation.
Yeah, so they used it for the first time when we went to Abu Dhabi quite a few years ago. That's when they used it.
Wow, what a cool trip that must have been.
That was interesting. I mean, I wish I could go back again when I was a little too young and I didn't enjoy the opportunity as much as I should. I was a little nervous too, you know, being in the Middle East for the first time. When you go there, they're like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, all these rules and regulations. And then you get there and you realize, like, it's just another country.
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, you have to respect certain things, certain cultural rules that there are. But besides that, you can do your regular life.
Yeah. And they love you when you come over.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely want to go back. And it's back on the schedule, but hopefully I can go back again at some point.
Yeah.
But no, the World Finals is cool. I mean, we're trying to actually. We just announced there's going to be an All-Star Challenge coming up again. No, it's not an All-Star Challenge. It's Superstar Challenge. That's what it's going to be called. So this, I think it's going to be in Anaheim for next year or this November coming up.
Is that kind of like an all-star event?
That's kind of what it is. We done it before. We can't not name it all-star anymore.
Okay.
So it's Superstar Challenge.
Okay. Same concept as far as getting the best of the best together to do freestyles.
Yeah,
like trick competition.
So it's going to be like there's going to be a leader. He picks teammates for the other competitions.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty interesting. Hopefully they'll pick me or I can be a team leader. All depends on what the season's going to do.
Right.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah. There's good things this year. I started 2023 with good positive attitude, and I feel like it's going to be a good year. Kind of like the way 2020 felt till COVID happened.
Yeah, you were like just on a roll. Right?
Yeah. It felt like it was going to be the greatest year on earth, and then so this year I feel like it's back. It came back again. Came back after COVID. And it's like, okay, here we are. We gave a couple of years break. Now we're back.
Yeah.
We never left.
Yeah.
So I got a good feeling about this season, and let's see what happens.
I'm curious how. I mean, you mentioned several times the point system. So how does that go? Like, how does that work?
Well, so every competition that we do, you start racing. There's a bracket, obviously, of elimination, and whoever wins, I think, so if there's 12 drivers, there's going to be 12 points on the line on whoever wins first.
So real quick, back up. So there's in a competitive event, there's 12
points for racing. There's 12 points for two-wheel or for a skills challenge, and there's 12 points for freestyle.
Okay, I was asking for actual competitors that are entering into the race or into the event. There's how many drivers?
So that's what there is on our tour. There's 12.
12, got it. Okay.
So 36 if you win every event.
You're correct. That would be a perfect score if you get 36.
Okay.
Very hard. Not too many people have done it, but it's possible to get a perfect score and everything. Because even though you might get good points, you might not get all the 36. Somebody might win the overall. For the most part, it will be like that. You will win two competitions, and the other one somebody else will win it. But the consistency of all the elements, that's what's going to give you the high score. Because I can finish third in racing, but if I finish first in skills and then I finish second in freestyle, I might be the winner.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Now, who's judging that?
So 2 of the competitions are fan judging.
Judging.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
So they get to interact with it.
That's that North Carolina thing coming in.
Yeah.
Now is that by crowd noise?
No. So you go to judgeszone.com on your phone. And
there's an app for that. There's an app for that.
Yes. So as soon as I finish the competition, they'll get about 20 seconds of time to submit your vote. So there's like a BKT tire. That's the brands of our monster truck tires, which they're 66 inches tall. You asked earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
So you grab those BKT tires and you like slide them up and down from 1 to 10. And the more people that vote, the better the score. Sometimes you will see there's only like 2 people voting. So if those only 2 people are voting for Gravedigger, he's going to get a 10. So you need more people to get in it to be more like.
Hence that party before the event.
Oh yeah.
To get like rub shoulders,
The
get them to love you.
tailgater thing?
Like,
Right.
hey, you wanna watch me? I'm gonna do this for you.
No,
Okay.
no, that's
Okay, some build up to that.
the interaction.
process.
I mean, you also ask about like, well, the drivers that used to get out and wave. So now what we do,
yeah, they get out and like fist pump.
we will do like the power intros. Like we'll do our intro video, and then after that, we sometimes we'll get out and wave. And then you get back into your truck, you sit up, and then you start racing. So that's like a way that we do to like kind of get out of the truck to let people see us. But for the most part now,
so to show the human element of the beast that is.
So that's the other thing. So like this year, before we used to say our event starts at 7:00 at night. So people used to get there at 7. Now we're trying to tell them, okay, if there's a pit party that finishes at 5:00, from 6 to 7, what's happening? There's a whole hour. There's all the pre-show interviews. That's when I go and I talk about me. That's when people get to know about me. Like
Up on the Jumbotron, looking at you, yeah.
And most of the people are missing out in all this. That's when I get to pump the people. I get to like tell them my story, like what's going to happen. And people are getting there at 7, and we were delaying our beginning of our race because there was no people in the stands. It's like, well, so people need to understand, like now, like in reality, at 7 is when the actual race starts happening. We already had national anthem. We had pre-show interviews. We had all this other stuff that's happening prior.
You need to show up like 4 or 5 o'clock then.
I mean,
to get the full experience.
You want if you're gonna come if you're gonna miss out on the pit party, you definitely want to show up at 5:00 for a 7:00 event.
Yep.
It's like a tailgating kind of.
Correct.
Yeah.
You get there.
Yeah.
You get there. You hang out. You go and get some food. It's not rushed out, and that's like what we want. We want to see the stands full of people. So by the time I go out there and talk to them, I can get a reaction of the crowd. There's nothing worse for me to go and grab the mic and have a cool story to tell them or something that happened earlier in the locker room, and there's 3 people in the stands cheering.
Yeah. What are some of your like go-to stories?
I usually don't really plan my story. I mean, I try to be very organic when it comes to me. I'm really talking to my fans.
Yeah.
I don't go out there. Before I used to notice, I used to have like a script and say like, well, I'm here for all the fans, whatever. Now I've been trying to break out of it, and I've been trying to like also push it within other drivers. Why we're being like such a script, like, hey, this is what I am, this is what I do.
So dry.
So that's one thing I like. Like the hosts now, they come up. It's like, what do you want me to ask you? If there's anything you would like me to ask you, like, no, go ahead, ask me. I'm gonna improvise. If you ask me something that I don't want to talk about, I'm gonna bridge that question. I'm gonna go somewhere else, and I'm gonna tell you my story. Sometimes, I mean, if you're in the pre-show interview, you ask me a question. There's fans around. Sometimes I don't hear you. Especially if you're a host that don't really know and you're like not even looking at me. You're just asking me, putting the mic next to me, looking at the camera. Like, well, I need to read your lips.
Yeah.
Because there's noise. So like when that happens, I will just grab and tell my own story. And I feel bad for the host because the host like, that's not what I asked you.
Yeah.
Like, well, at this moment I couldn't hear you. I'm not going to stand there in the mic like, what?
Be a better host. Yeah.
Basically, but it's cool because like I improvise. I feel the energy. I like in the pit party I get to hear if there's a lot of Latinos. So that's one thing that I love to do. Like I love to say my interview, my pre-show interview. And right at the end of it, I like to communicate to my Latino people.
Yeah. You probably have a home crowd advantage in Texas, Arizona.
Totally. I'm
San
excited
Diego.
for next week coming to
Southern
San Antonio.
California.
San Antonio is always good for me.
Yeah.
And El Toro Loco, so I'm excited for next weekend in San Antonio. Like what's going to happen. I mean, I know right now I'm a little low on points in the series after this muddy weekend in San Diego. So San Antonio, I feel like I can redeem and get myself back to like the 3rd or 2nd place on the season. So
let's go back to the points because you said there was a total of 36 points per event, and then how many events is there, and how do you qualify for the world?
So well, most of the tours have the same amount of stops.
Okay,
I can't remember. I think I have 17 stops from the beginning of the year to the World Finals, basically. Okay. So all these points are they accumulate. Actually, I have 2 or 3 arena stops before the World Finals. Those arena stops, the points don't matter.
Okay.
For
that's
the
just
World
like
Finals.
prepping to go.
Those points will matter for that event. Then for for us, like our personal ego, but those points don't matter for the World Finals.
Okay.
So right now it's when all these points accumulate throughout the whole season. They can deduct you points.
That was going to be a question.
Yeah, the points can be deducted.
Violate something or...
Yeah, technically, if you hit another race truck, like if the truck is parked and you roll over and you land on top of it, that could be one of the reasons for them to take points away from you.
No.
Yeah, there's several penalties. I mean, going if you go racing, you don't jump with all 4 tires on the race ramp. You miss one tire goes off the race ramp. That could give you a 5-second penalty. And you're like, well, 5 seconds, that's too long. That's even longer than what it took me to do the whole lap, you know.
Yeah.
There goes your points.
But yeah, so you got to be careful. If you do the stoppies, when we do the skill competition, we do stoppies and sometimes we try to do combos. Well, if you're going to do a combo, it's okay. But if you set your tires down and then you try to get it back into the rear tires, for example, that's not a combo anymore. You're touching.
It's not a fluent motion. It's now a new trick.
Correct. So before some of us, even myself, I'm guilty about it. I push the limit. You know, I do it, and I'm like, well, it wasn't a real combo, but the fans still love it. So they're gonna vote for you and stuff.
Yeah.
So now the rules like that, like, well, if you do a combo, it's not a combo. They can take the points away from you for that one.
Gotcha.
So I mean, there's strict rules actually in the first week of the season. That's the first thing you do. You get a page with all the new rules or the old rules, but just you can have a reminder. So whenever something happens, you don't go like, hey, why are you taking the points away from me? It's like here it is. There's a backup. There's all the points, all the rules. What do you need to do?
Yeah.
So it's cool because I mean, obviously, all the drivers are always trying to find a way how to cheat the system in a way.
Yeah, find an edge.
Yeah. Of course.
What can we do to get
Everyone's
that
competitive there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the tricks. Because you were saying some of the names of the tricks, and so I'm curious if we can maybe demonstrate with something maybe we could pull them up.
That'd be cool.
And if anyone's listening, jump on the YouTube page and watch this, or go to Mark's page or their YouTube page.
Houston 2022.
Okay, maybe we'll pull up some of them, and you can describe what the trick names are.
Well, I mean, we have there's not. So that right there is a slap wheelie. So you make a jump, you land, you slaps, and then you do a wheelie. That was like that first trick right there. That's a bicycle / rollover that we save. No, so the bicycles are basically when you go on the side 2 wheels, which is one of the new popular tricks. You try to get on the side. You try to ride it as long as you can. Sometimes you get into a cyclone, a sidewall cyclone. That's what we call it.
Okay.
So it's like when you do a bicycle.
That's got to be a stoppie right there.
That one's, yeah. So the stoppie is standing in the front 2 tires. When you put it in reverse, it's called a moonwalk. We have the poppers. The poppers are when you put the front 2 tires on top of an obstacle. You gassed it and you stand it onto the front 2 tires.
Okay.
That's popping it onto an obstacle. The moonwalk is that one. Like I said, standing it
on the front 2 tires, going backwards. The
one I do that's like backing up onto the container. I stand the front 2 tires and I start walking. It's the trick that the original was Max D, Tom Mance. He created that trick, and I kind of did a game with him, and I went and kind of like did it before he did it.
Okay.
So it became kind of like a joke, kind of controversial. I thought he was mad at me, but he was mad at me because I got up in the container and I didn't attempt it. Like if you got up there, you should have attempted.
Yeah.
But then I did it. So the name of it is the Maximum Moonwalk.
Okay.
When I did it, some of the fans and my friend John Stefanaro, one of the hosts, they call it the Matador Moonwalk. So that's what it's been called. The Matador Moonwalk, that's what it's been called every time I do it. I still feel like it needs to be named the Maximum Moonwalk because it's original from Tom Mintz, you know.
He invented it.
So so I kind of that's the way I call it. I call it the Maximum Moonwalk.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's a stoppie. It's weird because now they're calling the stoppies moonwalks as well. Just even when you're walking forward.
Okay.
I remember the stoppie was stomping on the brake and getting it on the front 2 tires.
Yeah.
So obviously. Yeah, that happens quite often.
Shut her down.
I always said, like, I don't wear the word loco on my chest for no reason.
Yeah.
And for those, loco means crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely the craziest one out of all. I mean, there's 3 other members of Team El Toro. They're very good drivers, all of them. But I'm definitely the craziest one out of them. That's why I'm there.
You get that trophy.
So I noticed when I was in Seattle that not everyone, I guess it's a container that you go and you do a whole backflip. Right. But not everyone can do it.
So everybody can all during the point series competition.
Okay.
It's free for all. Independents are always free to do whatever they want. If they break it, they're the ones paying for the bill.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, so they're always free to do whatever they want. Us that we run company trucks. I mean, on the summertime, we don't want all the trucks to go out there and do a backflip. They might be breaking it. There might be a lot of unnecessary damage. So we'll select 2 or 3 of the best trucks to go out there and do a backflip on summertime events.
Okay.
Not all the trucks are going to go and do a backflip. First of all, because once you see the first 1 or 2 backflips,
you see
34 is like, it's still cool.
Yeah.
That is not as impressive.
Gotcha.
So that's another strategy that it's kind of having some problems this year. Because if you're the first one that goes and does the backflip on freestyle, you're probably going to get a higher score than anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right.
So they had it, if you win freestyle, that you can select your point of starting your next freestyle.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, Cynthia did it this weekend, or the last weekend in San Diego, she went and won the first freestyle, so she selected the next day, I want to go out in 5th place. So she's the first flipper every time. She's the first person, because the 2 independents before her, they were not doing it. So, I mean, good strategy, but that just changed. It's like, no, you can pick, but you can pick from 8 to 12.
Gotcha. Has anyone done the opposite way?
Yes. Actually, if you look Max D at the World Finals, he did it. He actually, he did the maximum moonwalk, standing out of the container. He was in the front 2 tires. So he's balancing right there, and also he puts reverse, and he backs up onto the container. And does reverse back flip, reverse front flip. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a front flip.
Yeah, he just did a backflip here.
Oh, is that the World Finals?
It is the World Finals, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's kind of coming to the end of your 2 minute, 15 second.
Oh yeah, run, so I was having issues with that truck. It was shutting off because he got wet. So the RI is a remote ignition interrupter, and that's like one of the coolest things that we have.
Here we go. Here's a backflip right here.
And that one breaks my rear end, but that was huge.
Oh yeah, left rear tire is just done.
It was just a tie rod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was an easy fix, but that's enough. So the RI, it's a remote ignition interrupter. It's basically like a walkie-talkie that the technicians and the tech officials have it in their hands. They can shut off my truck at any time in my competition.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, for example, let's say that you decide to be drunk and run into our truck. Well, we can shut that truck up at any moment. My truck breaks, caught on fire, whatever happens. So people ask, there's two lights on the trucks, right? One red and one yellow in the front of the windshield that you can see them. Like, what are those lights for?
Yeah.
Those are the lane indicators. They indicate which lane is my radio running on, so the official can switch their walkie-talkie to that lane. So if I'm going to run, they will tell me left lane, right lane. I'll select that lane. Now I can fire. Once I fire, they will test the radio. They will shut it off. They will refire me again, and then they will send me to the track. So everybody who is there in that stadium in charge with an RI, they can shut me off at any moment for whatever reason.
Yeah. Is there a trick that people are... I think of like when, the snowboarder did the 900, or, he did the first time Tony Hawk did the 900. Is there something that's out there that people have been trying but have yet to maybe do in a competition? Or is there still waiting to...
So, there's a couple of tricks. One, which actually on that video of the World Finals, you can see it where I do the backflip into moonwalk.
Okay.
That's one of them. One of the tricks that everybody to land that trick is very hard to do. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you can backflip. You have to land perfectly in order to get that rebound, to get to stand, and to control it.
Yeah, because you like rip the motor and you're like bam, and you pop back up to get under the front.
Right. So
it's like a timing has to be perfect.
Yeah, when it rotates, it just has to land on that perfect timing of the rotation. If it lands a little over, it's just going to land flat and it's not going to rebound.
Yep.
The one trick, I mean, that a lot of people have been doing is the bicycle onto the cycle. The cyclone donut, basically.
Okay.
Which that's what Son of a Digger from Ryan Anderson, he did it. He does the bicycle, he starts going, he lets it kind of fall.
There, he just did it in that trick right there.
And then he just starts like going crazy. Then I'm going to say probably the corkscrew. The corkscrew consists in hitting the backflip ramp a little sideways.
Okay.
And as you're going, you're kind of twisting in the air and landing. A lot of the fans come over and tell me, are you going to try a corkscrew? I always tell people, like, that's one of the tricks that I would like to try, but I don't see, like, too possible to do. I see it, like, every time I'm going to do that trick, my truck's going to land on the cage. And these trucks are not meant to land on the cage.
Or you'll break a suspension component. It seems the way it'll land at an angle.
I mean, that probably will happen, but that wouldn't even be my worry. My worry is more landing on the cage. I mean, they're not. Right now,
you getting hurt.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
Right now, my safety in my truck is so high that if I start doing that, I'm landing on the cage. Their trucks are not meant to land on the cage.
Yeah.
So I'm compromising every safety equipment that I have.
Yeah.
The roll cage, I'm compromising it. So that's why I tell people, like, I don't feel that comfortable trying the corkscrew.
Is anyone doing it?
Mark McDonald, I think. No.
Corkscrew?
Yeah, put corkscrew. That would be easier to find. It was the World Finals. Cam McQueen. He's actually a Canadian fellow. He did it, and a lot of people has been trying it. Brianna Mahan, she tried it.
It's a long video, actually. Let me see if I can find a shorter one.
She tried it, and that was like not the safe move to do. You know, like when I saw her do it, like, that's not really what you want to do.
Wow.
There it is.
That was, you just did it and landed it.
Yeah.
Play that again one more time.
Yeah. Bam.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So how do you practice these moves, and like, is there practice times, and like, are you practicing when you're in the competition?
I mean, I never practiced how to do a backflip. When we got to Costa Rica in 2018, the first time I performed in my country, that was the first time they gave me the green light to do a backflip, and I'm like, well, I never done one, but they're giving me green light, so I got to do it. I mean, I seen it.
Yeah.
But I never practice it. You're not gonna get the chance to practice a backflip. You know, unless you have to have the confidence. You have to have the confidence and believe that you can do it and go and do it. And if you cannot do it, then don't even try. Basically, that's the way it is. Like I said, we have the Monster Jam University. We learn how to drive. We learn how to try maybe how to do stoppies.
Okay.
Some of these tricks. But when you're trying to talk about backflips, these type of tricks that if you land on the cage, you're going to break the truck. It's a lot of damage automatically. You're going to do $5,000, $10,000 worth of damage just by landing on the cage, you know. So when you do those things, you have to like be confident of your skills of what you're capable to do.
That's what you're probably talking about right there, Hallmark, where you'll just land right on the cage.
Yeah.
So there's a right about here. I think it's this one. You just bam.
Yeah. Oh, right on the top.
Yeah. If you don't hit it right, it just ends you.
Correct.
Right?
Done. Night's over.
Yeah.
Night's over. Those hurt.
Yeah.
Those hurt. You definitely have a headache. I mean, me, and you can see everybody, and you can tell when it hurts.
Yeah.
You see people in the stands, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, that can't be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the most part, they don't hurt us as much. They'll give you a little headache, you know, or something. But yeah, there might be some hits. You know what? Some of the worst hits I had is rolling over backwards after doing a wheelie in a small arena. So you do a wheelie, you land onto the pot, and you're like right there, and then slowly the truck starts rolling backwards. Those are the worst. It's so slow, and like, why? That shouldn't hurt. It was a very slow rollover. When it touches the cage into the ground, for some reason, it's like hurts so much. The way you're strapped in,
right through there.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't mind like a forward momentum rollover, you know, coming over, roll over in front of my front tires and back into the wheels. Like that's not, I don't mind. But that backwards, straight into the cage, those are painful, you know. Good thing, I mean, I'm saying painful, but it's not, it's to the point where like it's not that bad, you know. Like when you're doing it so often, you get used to, you kind of know how to like embrace your body. And you're like, all right, this one's going to hurt. And yeah, it does hurt. It gives you a headache, but you're prepared for it. You know, you're not, like the first couple ones when you were not prepared, I was just sitting there and yeah, my legs were flying all over the monster truck. Like, where the heck? What's going on? Yeah. So it's a learning curve, you know. The first time you do it, you don't know what to expect. Yeah. And that's what I keep saying. You know, when I'm driving, the first couple of times, like I jumped that big, like the one in Canada, I was super afraid. And the next time I did it, it's like, well, it wasn't that bad, so I can push the limit even more. And that's how I got to the point now where it's like, I don't care jumping, holding the pedal to the metal. When before, like, you go hold it for 2 seconds and let go. Okay, let's jump now. Yeah. Now I'm just holding it from the back, the one end of the track and hoping for the best. To the point where, like, I mean, the equipment is not going to handle it anymore. And that's at the limit that we are now. We're pushing the limit so much that the equipment needs to improve in order for us to continue improving.
I see. Yeah. I had a question in regards to the equipment, the pit. So, like NASCAR, you got a pit crew. You pull over, you change tires, you change a brake, caliper or something. What is your team like behind the scenes when a repair or maintenance needs to be performed? What's that like?
So it's all hands on deck.
Okay.
So the way it works, we have one head technician per truck, one trailer lead.
Like a pit leader, crew leader.
Right.
Okay.
And we have the trailer lead. So in one trailer, there's 2 Monster Jam trucks with tires, parts. So there's 3 people that works out of each trailer.
Okay.
So obviously, I mean, my technicians, his name is Mark. I mean, whatever. There's several people. Then when the truck actually breaks during competition, and say I break a transmission, anybody,
big deal.
Anybody who is there, doesn't matter if that's a mechanical gravedigger.
Oh wow!
All hands on deck.
Oh, when you say all hands, not just the El Toro team, Loco team. It's like everybody get this thing.
Because everybody works for the same company.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want that truck to be back on that track.
It's about the venue. It's about the performance and get everybody out there competing.
That truck needs to be out there. It cannot miss an element. That's the main goal. So since we all work for the same company, we're going to make everything we can for all those trucks make it back to that competition.
And includes sharing parts.
That's why. Like, that's what happened this weekend. Like, I broke a 4-link bar. Well, it's going to take him too long to get that 4-link bar off. So they took my air filter off and they gave it to another truck that needed it, because he was going to go and perform. Well, at that point, that took me out of the competition. I sacrificed my freestyle competition from this past Sunday for that reason. But, well, it's going to take... my crew chief could have never replaced the 4-link bar for A or B reason. A bolt got a jam in there or whatever.
Sure.
So
it's a lost cause.
And with all the mud, and at that point, too, it's like, I'm just hurting my truck. There's so much mud on the track. I'm just hurting. It's like, it's a smart decision to just step out.
Yep.
It hurt me in points. That's why I'm in sixth place right now. Mm-hmm. But it's just the beginning. It's just week number 2. I mean, we still have, 14 more weeks left to go. Yeah. I can turn this thing back around, you know?
Yeah, so, and it's for the greater good of the whole crew involved in the venue too, right?
Right.
To have a truck running, like you sacrifice your air filter for the other truck.
Right.
He can be out there. You're done. You're done anyway.
Yeah, so, pretty much. And and my attitude was done too. Man, it's the second day of being in that mud, and you can hear nothing is performing. You want to do all the cool tricks. You know, you talk to all the fans in the pit party, and you tell them, like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this for you. And then you go there, and you cannot do anything because of the conditions.
Right.
So
it's disheartening. It just kind of takes you out of it.
Oh, yeah. It's frustrating, man. I mean, you have expectations. Yeah. Let's say you come over to my event. I'm going to be all excited because you're there supporting me.
Yep.
Now I want to show you what I'm capable to do. And then we get weather conditions, and I cannot do anything.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a kick in the nuts.
Totally.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Mat-Su, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
All right, we're back. Hey, I wanted to just throw out another shout out. Earlier in the show, we touched on our amazing turnout and experience we had with our on-site live podcast at Palmer Ale House. Thanks to BHA and Palmer Ale House, Corey, the GM, Corey, the owner, Boomer, our waiter, the staff. They were very accommodating, welcomed us with open arms. BHA put a hell of a gathering together, a pint night there, and just again wanted to thank everybody involved that made that happen last night. We had an amazing time. Can't wait to do another live event, and it's always because of the people that are involved. Another shout out to patreon.com. Check it out. Again, that's patreon.com /Alaska Wild Project. Make sure to, if you're interested in wanting to help out, whatever you can do to provide a little something to provide resources for us to keep building on this business and this project and our message, and bringing really rad dudes like Mark in, and again doing events.
Yeah, and it could be anything from $1, $5 to depending on whatever it is, and all that little stuff helps us, pay for the rent and the equipment and all the stuff that, like Jack mentioned in the beginning of the show, we're all full-time family, dads. We got full-time jobs, businesses. Obviously, kids got soccer, hockey, baseball stuff going on, and we're trying to do all this stuff for the good of Alaska. So kind of taking time out of our busy schedules to do this. So any support that is happening there is greatly appreciated. Also support all the sponsors that sponsor our stuff. Big thank you to those guys. And a simple thing as far as like just buying a hat, buying a shirt from our website, or going down to Barney's and buying something there. I mean, all that stuff is going to the same cause. So thank you for the people that have done that. And we're continuing to put out new stuff. We just got some new hoodies out, and we got some new hats on the way. And so just keep checking back on the website and check for some of the new products and all that stuff. And definitely, if you have a comment, leave us an Apple Podcast review. That's always helpful. Subscribing to the YouTube channel, that's a simple, easy thing that just takes nothing. Even if you're not watching it, all that stuff. Our goal is to get to 1,000. I think we're at like 520 or something like that. So we're halfway there.
Yep, it's growing fast.
And then Jack's Trivia.
Do we have the button?
We don't have the button.
We're still working on it. Yeah,
we
I actually found a
button.
really cool dude that is like profession is making jingles for that. So we're working on it.
We don't like the old jingle?
We lost it. I got to find it again.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Like it got deleted off the button.
Yeah. I figured. Yeah.
But I found this really cool dude. I ran into him randomly at like a car wash, and I recognized him and we were chatting. I want to get him on the pod, actually. His name's Eric, and I said, well, you're retired now. What do you do? He's like, well, I make jingles for commercials and advertising. I'm like, oh my God. You're our guy. Trivia. Yes. I'm like, the first thing I thought, I was like, bing, we need to get him to make us a trivia jingle. So, yeah, we'll get a hold of you, Eric, and get that rolling.
All right. Well, you guys can just do your own jingle right now.
Yeah, in my head.
All right.
I used to be pretty good at beatboxing, actually.
Ooh, beatbox jingle.
I'm a little out of touch now, though.
Little rust.
Don't get me started.
All right. Well, so you're gonna have to answer last because we're definitely gonna go monster truck today, and a little less like random Alaska fact. All right.
Back in my bulldozer days, I guess.
We saw the Big Air earlier, and that was pretty high. So, what's the record height in a Monster Jam for vertical? In feet, and you can, feet, point, inches, you can give decimals if you want, but how many vertical feet is the record?
Which he was held by a female.
Hell yeah.
Ooh,
good call. Damn.
Well, he did mention, he said he thought he went about 20-something feet.
I'm going to say 31.7.
Ooh,
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's probably way too high, but man.
I'm going to say 27.
I think it's about 32.
So
holy shit, I'd be close if that's true.
It's 45.472 feet. A high jump in feet reached by Cynthia Gauthier.
Gauthier. She's my best friend. We're on tour this year.
Awesome. At Monster Jam World Finals 20.
Yeah.
What year was that? Was that last year?
That was before COVID happened.
Okay, before COVID.
Oh, and there's Cynthia there. Oh, man. There she is. Right there.
Cynthia, no, she's crazy.
Nice. I wonder if we could find that.
Oh, she drives that.
Yeah, so she used to drive the Monster Dalmatian, and last year they debuted this truck, the Lucas Oil Stabilizer.
Okay.
And she's the driver.
Because they're a huge sponsor.
She was in Seattle, wasn't she?
Yes, she was in Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah. This year she's driving even better than what she did last year. I mean, she's been winning 3 freestyles out of the 4 freestyles we've done so far.
Man, she's badass.
I don't know if you can go to her Instagram, and there's a couple. There's one jump that she's driving, the Monster Dalmatian blue version. This jump was in the World Finals in Las Vegas. It is one of the biggest jumps I seen of her doing, and I always say, like, what were you thinking when you did this jump?
Jerry had his baby?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Congratulations, Jerry. Daughter, right? What was the name?
Oh, baby.
Baby Julia.
Yeah. Baby Julia.
That one right there.
Yep.
The blue one?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at this thing.
Whoa!
What?
Oh my gosh, is she alive?
That was like 100 yards.
Whoa.
So it goes off a jump 100 yards there and lands right on the nose.
mean, that is no over-exaggeration, folks. That was a
What's this video called for people that want to watch it that are listening?
Oh my god.
Or it's on her Instagram.
Yeah, it's on her Instagram page.
Cynthia Gauthier, Cynthia Gauthier.
She said, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. Send it.
French kiss, hashtag French kiss jump.
Damn, girl, that is just like,
End of the
she's like,
night.
you know what, I don't like this body anyway.
Yeah, no, like I was in the recovery team that year, and I went to pick her up, and I'm like, what were you thinking, girl, about your life? No, if I think if she would have landed a little like over the nose a little more, it would have been a bad story.
Yeah,
she landed right perfect. The truck runs out of gear. She comes outside from the stadium, from outside the stadium. She comes full speed, and she hits the speed at top speed.
Is that methanol pouring out the back?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I mean that impact you see with the back where he hits, and there it is, breaks the tank.
I see what you meant by the rotation right here. Like if it would have rotated a little more, it would have been on the cage.
Yeah, that could have been a very bad story for her.
Oh my goodness!
Good thing that didn't happen. I mean,
hey,
probably would have nothing happened if it would have landed more, but it could have been a bad story overall. But hey, that's
insane, man.
That's the type of personalities that you need in this industry. That's why we are who we are, because you get nuts like her,
crazy.
this French girl.
Yeah. Oh, hey, is this some of the mud right here?
Yeah, that was this weekend.
I wanted to see something with them. Oh my god, you weren't kidding about the mud. Look at that shit.
Just spinning out.
Oh, that looks pretty cool, though. I mean, it is a hot mess, right? But
big time.
You can't even see what the truck is. It's just covered in mud.
Like, I mean, it's just because you know the shape, but like you can't do anything. You try to turn. Those are things when the conditions are like that, you turn and you got to use less throttle in order to control it. If you press the brakes, it's like being in the snow. You're just going to slide.
Oh, slide around,
So you got to like really think about like what are you going to do?
Damn.
But yeah, that was the conditions. That's how San Diego was this weekend, which San Diego hardly ever rains.
I know. It just
it's
happened
California.
Yeah,
Beautiful California. Yeah, that's, you see, Pops, that's what the trailer.
Everybody's just muddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Cool, man.
Oh, man,
that girl's wild,
awesome.
man.
No, there's
She's
I mean, you see this
badass.
when she's like showering with the fire suit, just trying to get
the mud off.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much all of us. As soon as the event was done, we got straight to the showers and like with fire suits, helmets, and everything on.
Wow,
so it's like,
man.
Wow.
Pretty incredible.
That's amazing. I kind of wanted to ask about your Costa Rican heritage. My family's from Colombia, very similar. And my main question is, what is your favorite dish from your country?
Well, I mean, from my country, I love the tamales, which those only happen in Christmas time.
Okay.
Tamales, basically, everybody claims that their grandma makes the best tamales, so all of them are amazing. One typical thing that I love from Costa Rica, which is our breakfast, which is the gallo pinto, which is the rice and beans mixed up, then with whatever, eggs, that's
sausage in there too.
Whatever you want,
Yeah.
you know, you add it. You make like a whole combo. You know, you have your plantains, you have your eggs, you have your rice and beans, maybe some sour cream with it. That's like delicious. That's the best way to start breakfast in reality. That's pretty. Everything in Costa Rica tastes so good because everything is from the land right there. Everything's organic, and moms, they always want to cook good. You know, moms cook the best. So when you come back to Costa Rica, it's like the best food ever. To me, one thing here in the United States, we definitely eat a lot of greasy food and processed food,
fried food,
and I can see my body when I go back home. Like now that I just spent the whole month of Christmas. My digestive system and everything, how it changes just from the diet, like going back to Costa Rica and all this natural healthy food, coming back here into all the processed food. Like I can tell the big difference. So I was very blessed to be like born down there and eat all this healthy food. A favorite dish, it's hard to tell, man. I mean, I had to break out of having to like one specific favorite dish because of traveling. Everywhere we go, you want to try all anything that's in front of you in reality. So it's hard. My favorite dish is one I always ask my mother. I don't know if it is a Costa Rican dish or what. I call it pastel de pollo, which is like a lasagna made out of chicken. And it's like layers of like tortilla with chicken, like peas and carrots. And it gets layered with cheese and goes all the way to the top. And then you put it like on a Pyrex and then you cook it for another 20-30 minutes, bake it, and then it comes out. The next day it's even better.
Okay.
It's like lasagna. Like
Let the flavor soak in, and it cures.
So when you cook the chicken with all those peas and carrots and stuff, you make like a good broth of the chicken. So as you're making, so the chicken, you break it into pieces, you shred it. And then as you layering it, you put that broth and you soak it in the broth and you continue making all those layers. So it just like one of my favorite meals.
Sounds amazing.
And then we throw some of this lisano sauce, which is like a steak sauce, traditional from Costa Rica. You can actually buy it here. I think Apples or whatever.
Red Apple.
Red Apple.
Red Apple has it.
Very ethnic stuff you can get at Red Apple.
Yes, you can get things there that you don't get anywhere else from other places.
Our first trip to Costa Rica, our dad brought back a case of it because he's like, this is the new thing, we're bringing it to Alaska. And I think we're the only people that had it for like 10 years.
It's so good. It goes with everything.
It does. Yeah, it's like your ketchup.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like a red sauce.
Like
red brownish.
Yeah.
What is it made out of?
It's spices. I mean, it's like
Is it like a mole?
It's like an A1 sauce, but with more spice to it. You know, it has like more. More like a spicy, but it's not spicy. It's not hot.
It's
you know.
Not hot,
It just has like a subtle bite to it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's really mild compared to like what you would expect.
You would make enchiladas with that. Am I thinking the same sauce?
I mean, you grab a piece of steak, you grab a piece of mousse, and probably cover in that and just let it marinate in that and throw it on the grill.
Oh my goodness!
But it's like on every table in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
like So like our gallo pinto or rice and beans. Like in the morning for breakfast, you just grab some Lisano sauce and dump it right on top of it.
Drizzle it.
And it's like, it's so good. Yeah. Anything. I'm not lying. The tamales.
Oh, yeah.
Dump some.
Does the tamales have the banana, the green leaves?
Yeah. So they're wrapping. So there's the difference of tamales, the Mexican tamales and corn and the Costa Rican tamales on the plantain leaves.
So you guys go more towards, because that's how the South American ones are too.
Yes.
With plantain?
Or with the leaves. We're talking about the leaves.
So they go. It's a whole process, man. I mean, I remember watching
my mom makes
like the grandmas and stuff, like cleaning all the leaves. They go and grab the from the plantain tree. They cut the leaves because they're huge, and they find the good pieces. They put them like on the wooden stove. They kind of put them on top to get some heat. Once they clean that, they prepare the masa or the paste, like whatever rice or potato base. They put a little bit of like a slice of egg, some carrots. I love the ones that they put either raisins or figs.
Okay.
So that will give it a little bit. Some people put some olives in there. Every grandma has her own recipe. Yeah. They come from the same. Yeah. I mean, there has a little bit of pork in there. Some people make them out of chicken. Some people mix them up, have chicken and pork. Yeah. So it's the whole thing. They're little. Usually they come in packs of 2. That's what they call it. They call it a piña, which is like a pineapple of tamales. So they come in pairs and they wrap them. So it's a whole tradition where the whole families used to get together, wrap them up. The kids were the ones wrapping them up and stuff, and then making enough tamales for the whole month of December. So when people come to the house, you go to any house in December, and you're gonna get served a tamale with a coffee.
Yeah.
Is
there anyone here making them?
I don't know here if there's anybody making them here, but
I know there was an old Colombian grandmother who would make the Colombian tamales and she'd sell them, and there's a lot of that here where Filipino ladies are making the lumpias and stuff like that. So I was curious on the Costa Rican.
That's one of the main things that impressed me about Alaska when I first moved here was the amount of Latino people here. Even the first day that I got here in the airport, I kind of felt bad. This guy came over. He was even smoking a cigarette inside the airport. And I'm like, dude, you don't do this in the U.S. You got to go to jail. You're new here. Respect the laws, But I was shocked about that. But I was impressed. There's so many Spanish-speaking people here in the state of Alaska. I was very ethnic. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that when I moved here. Coming from Florida. Trying to escape a little bit from the Hispanic. Nope. It's the same. But I thought that was pretty cool. I love that. To see there's so many people from all over the world that actually get to experience and appreciate what paradise is. And they that's right. Once you come here, you can't leave.
Yeah.
That's right. My mom actually makes a mean homemade tamale.
Really?
With the green leaf and the whole thing.
Oh, she does it with that? Okay.
No, it's like, you got to ask her, and then she's like, okay, next week.
We're going to prepare.
Yeah, go to Red Apple.
No, she does have to make special trip to go get everything for it, but she prides herself on making tamales, and they're bomb.
Do we have more trivia?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. All right, okay. We kind of got sidetracked on this.
Okay, I thought that, specifically Brandon might like this question because I'm always nerding out a little bit about what kind of pressure I want. I'm by a fat tire bike versus our ATV tires and stuff. Yeah. Okay, so what is the ideal PSI for the monster truck tires? And so I thought that kind of how they described this was good too. They're so consider that you need the strength from the tire with all the bouncing and stuff, and then it's like a strength thing versus minimizing its bounce, right? Because if it was too full, right, it would
it's gotta compress.
All right, so what is the PSI, the optimum PSI according to the fun facts of the Monster Jam trucks?
I like this.
Yeah, this is a good one. That's a really good question, Jack. So PSI. So
if you're thinking a truck is about what? A 4-wheeler is about 40.
No, 4-wheeler's 5 pounds.
Yeah, 5 to 40.
Yeah, my 3/4 ton pickup with load range G's is 60 pounds, 70 pounds. Half-ton truck is 40, 45 pounds. But this is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So my mind's just
that's a tricky one.
I feel like I want to go low
Yeah, to give it some bounce. I'm gonna let you go first because I have no idea.
I don't even. I mean, I'm like.
I mean, it's a 66-inch tire, so I mean, just kind of.
You need enough pressure to fill it,
and it's gonna be huge. 200 pounds.
200 pounds.
I'm gonna say 120.
120.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
It's about 18 to 22 pounds.
God damn it! I knew I should have went low, man. Well, because like an ATV, right?
Yeah,
it's 5. Yeah.
I would have said like 5 or 6. I was surprised that it was so high.
What is
it? I think it's for that first sentence. It's like the increased strength to be able to land.
Part of our suspension is the same tire. You know,
it's in the tire.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like if you put too much air pressure, I mean, I have to change my settings on my shocks. So like we try to maintain the same standard. We've been trying different models of tires. We're like on the 3rd generation of BKT tires we're using. Some of them there was flatter on the top. Some are more round. So we kind of found a balance where these tires, they have enough pressure to the point where they don't roll over. So when you come in around the corner, you can actually drift and they will expand instead of like fold underneath the tire because there's like so much rubber. They're soft tires. So they will fold underneath the tire and they just hook and roll over.
Mark, you know you messed me up. You know how?
How?
Well, you know it is a 60-inch tire. I was like, I want to go low. And then I was like, wait, 200. I think it's higher than, I guess. Like,
well, the fun fact is like it takes a good probably 45 minutes to fill out those.
Oh, I bet.
To even get that many pounds in it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it has to be 200 pounds. It's just a lot of space inside between the rim to the tire outer wall. It makes sense.
So what is it?
It was so the fun fact on the webpage is 23, but that's
okay.
I think every truck's different.
Yeah,
I don't think it had the picture of your truck on it.
I run mine a little lower.
Okay.
Well,
this one has the zombie truck on it. This fun fact page.
Well,
maybe the driver's a little heavier, so they can increase. No,
yeah. Get a 300 pounder in there, like whoa. Yeah. Increase that up a little bit.
All right, I got one more, and this one like kind of blew my mind a little bit. But okay, how many feet of tubing does it take to create a monster truck frame?
I don't even know that.
So the frame, like we were talking about the frame,
the whole frame
that protects everybody.
Like if you bought one big stick of tube and you cut it all up to make a frame, how much would that be?
How many feet of tubing for one frame?
Jack, you really do bring it though.
I wouldn't have got this one all.
What's the average length of a truck though?
I don't know.
Start there.
What, like
length
18 feet or something?
12 feet tall, 12 feet wide.
Okay, so we got 12.
I mean,
I'm gonna go 86.
86 feet of tubing.
Yeah.
86 feet of tubing. I'm gonna say 125 feet.
What do you think?
Yeah, Mark. What do you think?
He's texting his tech.
Hey, Mark. I don't know. I really don't know this one. That sounds about a good number. I'm gonna go more than you. I'm gonna say 150.
150. Yeah. So 800 feet.
Oh my
God.
So it must be like really little tubing. And then there's a lot of it. But I have no idea.
I mean,
there's so many pieces.
That's what I was thinking. Like if we could pull.
Oh, pull up maybe a picture of it without the frame, without the body
but if you
on
think
it.
about it, I mean, just behind. Behind me, there's like all these webbing that goes like left and right, all these angles everywhere. They have angles going down, thinking of every time I'm going to do a backflip and land it on the cage so it doesn't collapse. Remember, I only have.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's just like an airplane.
There it is.
Wow.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just like,
and then a lot of the trucks have reinforcement. Like, I mean,
there was another picture that showed more.
Like ours don't have the rounded curves like this. They're all like more square.
Like that silver one.
Oh yeah, that one on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Oh, like this one.
Yeah.
That's a shit ton.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has the webbing on the back.
Yeah,
you see all the
star pattern.
All those crossbars, these down bars right here. They go like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that keep my head safe.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, if you just took like, I got one bar at 800 feet, that's so
it's
much
unbelievable.
metal.
That's why they're 12,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask how much do they weigh, and what is the average cost of a truck to build?
We say about 250,000 to build one from scratch.
Engine, chassis, suspension,
suspension,
body,
housings.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that shows all the suspension there too. The double, like you said.
Yeah.
And so, are those nitrogen charges in those ones, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they load them up every weekend. When we get there, they have to like regas them, make sure they're right. The altitude plays a big effect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
How much travel?
36 inches, I think.
Oh wow.
So
That is amazing fabricating to
Yeah.
build something like that.
yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, what it has become, because we're at the limit of like how much lighter we can make them, because the trucks cannot go any much lighter, otherwise they won't make it. You know,
hold
you
up.
make a jump,
Yeah.
they'll just break. And if you try to reinforce them, they become too heavy.
Start adding too many crossbars and
Right. So then also on horsepower, people are like, why don't you put a bigger engine? They are bigger engines. We can produce more
big blocks,
horsepower.
major heavy motor.
But we could put a bigger motor and produce more horsepower out of it. But then all we're going to do is going to break more parts.
Yeah.
And you said it was a 5 what big block?
545.
Big block
basically.
Chevy?
Big block Chevy engine, basically.
Okay.
I mean, it's in-house. It's built
It's
in
a blown up 502.
Pretty
Is
much.
that what it is?
Pretty much.
Wow. Damn.
So yeah.
1,500 horse, you
1,500 horses. We use a power glide transmission. So it's first, second, neutral, reverse, and parking. Pretty simple. I mean, semi-automatic. There's no key to start it.
Just a switch.
A bunch of switches, yeah.
Can you pull up a
Kinda
picture of the
NASCAR style.
inside?
Oh, yeah.
Is it
that'd
like
be-
a regular just clutch system?
I mean, you just have a throttle, brake, basically like you drive regular automatics.
It's automatic.
system. Yeah.
Oh.
You do have first and second. So like when we take off from the race ramp, I'll be like with my throttle and brake at the same time, getting the RPMs high enough. As I take off, pedal to the metal. As my pedal hits the metal, I'm shifting from first to second.
Okay.
I'm just slapping it.
Oh, there's not really much to
So
it.
what about when you want to go in reverse?
Yeah.
When you
Crap.
land and want to go backwards?
So like when I do the stoppies and stuff,
Yeah.
like there's a lever they have to pull up. So I usually try to like when I'm going up the ramp, I think it's like, okay, second gear. I'm in second gear because it's closer from second to reverse instead of being like first, second.
Oh, okay.
So I try to be in second gear, and then I move from second to reverse, which you have to go like left and over and then to the right. So it's like a movement that you have to like practice. So I will sit there in my truck before going out, and I'll do it several times just to make sure that I'm familiar with that movement. So when you do the stoppie, you really know what to do. Because I mean, when I first started trying the stoppies and the moonwalks, I was breaking transmissions left and right, and they're pretty expensive. So now I finally became good enough to like for practicing that. Like you don't break them that often, and that's cool because then I can continue pushing the limit on the two wheels.
In the tranny, when you break it, it's just a full assembly swap out.
Yes,
Pull the broken tranny out, throw a fully rebuilt
correct.
new one in.
same with the engines.
Okay. Oh, wow. It's a full assembly.
Yeah.
All right.
How long does it take to swap them?
They can swap a transmission in about 35 minutes.
Oh wow.
Sometimes even less. The engine, it does take them a little longer. It might take them about an hour and a half to do the
Okay.
whole engine. So for the most part, if you break an engine at the beginning of the event, hardly ever you're going to make it back for freestyle.
Okay.
It has happened. There's been
If it's early enough in the event that you have time to recover.
Yes. Yeah, they've been enough technicians, good enough technicians, they can get it done to move to change an engine in that short amount of period. Sometimes we done where we have two events in that same day. So if you break your engine in the morning, well, you might miss the rest of the competition, but you will be back for the second.
evening,
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
So you're still getting some points.
Yeah.
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 So is when someone wins the world finals, is that just for pride, or is there some sort of financial payout for these like individual events and maybe the final?
Sadly, as of now, there's not real pay for whoever wins the final and stuff, besides the exposure.
Okay.
And well, more exposure you get, more popular you are, more events you're gonna have, more
Gotcha.
money you're gonna make.
Gotcha.
So, I mean,
more invitations for these and this and that. Got it.
Yeah, you're one of the fan favorites. I mean, they want to see you. If you're pulling all the cool tricks, the fans want to see you.
Yeah.
So if you're performing like that, then you're gonna have more exposure, like I said. So then the company's gonna want you to be performing in more events.
Got it.
Is there like a Ride of the Night award or,
Well, we do have like after the World Finals, we have a banquet, a ceremony, and they do like more skilled driver, upcoming driver, rookie of the year, big air. There's several elements that we
in Vegas or something.
Well, this year, last year was in Orlando.
Okay.
This year is going to be in Nashville.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they'll find a cool place and they'll like reserve a whole salon, and we go there and we have like we watch videos of bloopers and stuff that has happened throughout the year. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's got to be
fun.
Great. Damn.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just had a question. We were talking about safety a lot, and something came to mind. If a lot of us were paying attention to sports over the last few weeks, we had a really tragic event where the Damar Hamlin had the cardiac arrest situation in the football game, and it was the first responders and the crews that came out that really essentially saved his life. And it got me thinking while we were talking about it through the show tonight. Does Monster Jam have like a first response team of trained individuals, or do you guys have folks that are from the local markets that you're in the venue? Say you're in Cincinnati or you're in Orlando, is it a conglomerate of everybody?
So we do have like our tech officials, technicians. Those are the first response. Basically, they will come there, they will check on us, they will put the fire out, they will get us out.
Yep.
On the tunnel, outside of the perimeter of the track, there's the EMS.
All right.
They will be always on site. We will not even run practice without having EMS on site.
Okay.
So, I mean, if something happens, we have our team that they're like prepared, trained how to cut the tubes in the truck to get us out in case something was to happen. We rely on them. Some of them are newer technicians that we're like, hey, you might want to train yourself a little more because I'm trusting my life on you. But slowly they get there. And after that, the first people, as soon as we get off the floor of the performance area, the EMS takes us to the hospital and then goes from there, which the company, the insurance, all take care of it,
Yeah. And I was just curious, you guys are so safety forward thinking with the chassis and the spectators and the whole thing, that it just seemed like it made sense that Monster Jam as a business would be on top of that.
Oh yeah. No,
protecting you guys.
And that's the other thing. We don't want to put out the EMS. We used to rely on the EMS to be the ones attending the first event, the first crash scene. But now it's not reliable.
Yeah,
we rather allow our
Cynthia's deal is a prime example, right? Like everybody was kind of like
So we go there. Well, we have communication. So the first thing if I crash, the first thing I'll hear, it will be on the radio. Are you okay? Yes. So he will communicate. So they at least know they don't need to panic. If I don't say anything, well, hey, we need to panic. What's going on?
Sense of urgency.
Right. So that's the first thing. If you say you're okay, which that's what we were talking earlier. If you have a concussion, if somebody asks you, hey, are you okay? You're gonna say yes, I'm okay.
Yep.
And that's that's the thing. Like, well, that's why if you roll over in the cage, we're looking at it because that's the main thing. Anybody's gonna say, yeah, I'm okay. It's perfectly fine. The adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
So that
settles in.
So, but before we used to have the EMS go into the track, and then they will be standing in the wrong spot. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get us out of the truck.
Oh.
So there's a bunch of things that, like, unless you have a trained personnel to do that. So that's why the safety techs are the ones that are going to take us out, check on us. If I'm climbing out of the truck, they'll be there waiting for me to hold me out before they roll the truck back over. So that will be like the first response. And then from there, it takes to more prepared hands. So you have to deal with something more serious, obviously.
Cool. Really great answer. Yeah, that was exactly what I was curious about.
What's something that maybe the average fan may not know about monster truck driving?
I mean, well, people think that, I don't know. I mean, there's different things. People who doesn't know anything about Monster Jam trucks or anything, like I said, the first thing they will think is there's a redneck hillbilly show event.
Yeah.
And they're all called Bigfoot.
Yeah. and that's totally not what it is. It's different. I mean, Monster Jam is trying to grow to so many cultures, to so many types of markets that it's hard to tell like what people don't know or what should know about our events. You know, it's definitely a family event show that all of us drivers, we're passionate about what we do. And we're trying to push the limits in this truck, and we get excited about the reaction of the fans that come to our event.
Yeah.
So we look forward to make a connection with every fan, get them to get involved with us because we want that connection because that's what motivates us to do what we do. And without them, without the fans, without everybody who is involved, we wouldn't be what we are.
Yeah. Good answer.
Very.
What are some other stuff that you're into as far as Alaska? We talked about snowboarding. Obviously, you were doing the bike riding. I saw your Instagram today. You're out ice skating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to do in Alaska. Have you done any fishing or hunting or anything like that?
You know, I haven't done any fishing yet, and I haven't done any hunting. Hunting is something that in Costa Rica we don't grow up with the hunting part. I want to do it. I want to experience it, but it's not something that really grows in my family, in my blood. Like, hey, hunting the way that in the United States the hunting culture is. Yeah. Costa Rica actually hunting is illegal now.
Oh, really?
We protect all the animals. It's a reserve for the whole world. We have a lot of animals. Just the jungle.
Yeah.
So it's illegal to do hunting down there. I mean, there's deer and there's a few animals you can. There's a lot of wildcats and stuff. But that's why the people were killing the wildcats instead of just the deer. So that's where like Costa Rica became like not allowed to really hunt. So that I don't see it that often. But when it comes to Alaska, man, I've been doing a lot of mountain bike trails. I did a triathlon in the Eagle River Triathlon a couple of years ago.
Oh, good for you.
One thing that we love to do is camping. I mean, me and my sister, we always love to go camping everywhere we can. I had the opportunity to travel quite a bit in the state of Alaska into remote areas, villages, working for telecommunications. I used to work with PCN, Pacific Construction North. Eric Phillips, it was my boss, and he gave me the opportunity to be able to travel around the state to a lot of places that I would never expect me to go there. Dry villages and stuff. It's like me, a new person here in Alaska, I've been to places that not even people who live their whole entire life here have been to.
Oh, for sure.
So that was a very cool experience. I mean, Whittier, I got invited for a couple weddings there in Whittier from one of my friends, you know, and I don't know, Alaska is amazing. There's no words to describe it. When you put him in the spotlight like that about Alaska, it's like hard to say it because I love everything about it. I love everything about it. One thing that Alaska taught me was if you snooze, you lose. Here, we're summertime when there's daylight. I mean, I remember coming back from working 14-hour day, and I'm tired. And like the normal things, like I want to be lazy and just be in my couch and not do anything. But here, you got to take advantage of it. Yeah. You got to get out there. You got to take advantage of the few hours of daylight that you have because when they're here, you got to take advantage of them because then it gets dark, like right now, you know. So I learned that about here. It's like you have to really get out there and get going and constantly be on the move. And if you are on the move, you're going to relate with good people. You're going to meet new people. There's always a lot of people wanting to do cool activities. Yep. So you have to make your decisions. You want to be complaining and say, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to stay home. Yeah, you can do that, but you're going to miss out on all the fun stuff.
That's
happening.
right.
That's a really great point, Mark, because it's easy to do that, and then all of a sudden summer's over, or there's only like one nice sunny day in a week. There's only one good Prince William Sound flat calm day, and you're like, I'll try it for the weekend.
Right.
And then a storm comes in. Yeah. You ain't going fishing now.
Right.
You snooze, you lose.
Right. Yeah. No.
It gets to this point where you're like, oh man, there's too many cool things and I don't have enough time.
I think that's the problem of everybody here. You know, our summers are too short to be able to do all the things that we want to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and after your tour's over, pretty much in July.
Yeah.
So are you now disconnected from Monster Jam, maybe like debrief for a little bit, and then do you get to come back to Alaska for the rest of the summer after that?
I mean, I get to come to Alaska and maybe spend 3 weeks and then go out for 1 weekend.
Okay.
That's kind of the way it goes.
Okay.
But still, I mean, we're still pretty busy even on the off season. I mean,
Yeah.
we say the season is the first quarter, and it's no longer a first quarter. It's all year round.
Yep.
And it's only going to get busier.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing for me.
It is.
I mean,
it's what you do.
who knows how long I'm going to be able to stay here in Alaska forever?
Sure.
I mean, sometimes I see it. I'm spending 4 or 5 hours extra on a plane each weekend, you know, when I could be flying, I don't know, let's say Houston and fly 2 hours and I'll be in my house.
Yeah.
Sometimes I consider that part, but then I look at all my friends and all the things that there is to do here in Alaska that it's hard to put it on the scale and figure out what you really want to do. And then I got Costa Rica on the other side, pulling the other side of the balance. Is like, I don't know what to do, man. I mean, I wish I could split myself and live in all places at the same time.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
keep
you go.
moving.
Pura vida.
Yes, that's right. The Pura Vida life. It's paradise.
Well, thank you for coming in and chatting with us and sharing all your knowledge on this amazing sport that you're involved in.
Yeah.
Your love for Alaska is just shining through your smile. So thank you for even on your Instagram, you put Alaska as a thing, you know, as where you could put Costa Rica, you could put all these other places, but you decided to say Alaska.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I mean, one thing is Alaska is my place. I feel like an Alaskan. I know I'm new. Some people might get offended about that because, like, I'm new to. But I feel like one more. My friends obviously welcome me here. It was such a great experience, and I'm like happy, and I want to see how I can get more involved on growing. I mean, on the motorsport industry, I feel very happy. I met Keith McGee, another Alaskan driver. In the NASCAR industry, you know, him and we became good friends since then. We actually been constantly in touch on what's happening on each tour. So I feel like Alaska has a lot of talent. I wish to be able to help to push this talent out more to get more exposure and the industries out there. I feel like there's so much talent here, but there's not enough guidance to take them to that next level.
Yeah.
We probably have better talent here than anywhere else, but nobody really gets to become somebody.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I feel like Alaska's missing, is missing somebody hungry to come and fish some talent out of here.
Nicely. Well said, man.
Yeah.
And thanks for your appreciation for this place.
Oh,
For someone that hasn't been here that long, I myself can find myself complaining when you just go through the long winters, but it's really it's rejuvenating for my mental to hear someone speak so purely of their love for it. It makes me remember like what I do truly love about this place. So it's inspiring, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
well
like we say in Costa Rica, pura vida. There's like kind of Alaska has a pura vida vibe into it.
Nice, man. We'll take it.
Pura vida. That's right. At Mark List, 539 on Instagram, Monster Jam athlete, El Toro Loco. Thank you. Alaska, thank you for listening. And as always,
stay wild, Alaska.
You'll remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
the Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products. providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, BHA, is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly